Yo, dummy. Yeah, you sitting there listening to this radio show. Why don't you sit there, pay attention, shut up, and turn up the volume. This is Ruthless Davidson from the Reality of Wrestling, and you are listening to Houston Wrestling Radio.
Hey, this is Buff Bagel, and guess what? I'm buff, I'm the stuff, and the girls still can't get enough. And if you're anybody, you'll be listening to Houston Wrestling Radio, or I'm going to show you why I'm buff and why I'm the stuff.
Hello and welcome everyone to the 49th edition of Houston Wrestling Radio. This is Abel.
This is Travis. This is Chris.
And thank you so much for tuning in today, guys. It's really awesome of you for listening to our show. We've been growing a lot here recently. And it's been pretty cool.
Hey.
Not that kind of growing.
Okay.
Yeah, growing the show, the podcast, Houston Wrestling Radio.
That's for later.
Yeah, that's
all
later.
Right.
So if you're listening to us on our website, HoustonWrestlingRadio.com, thank you. We are also on YouTube. You can also download us off of iTunes, and you can also take us on the go on the Stitcher Radio app for iPhone and Android. Also, don't forget to visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Houston Wrestling Radio, or hit us up on our Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @HWrestlingRadio. Also, another brand new, interesting thing. Another way that you can interact with us is by wearing our clothing.
Ooh.
We have...
You need to rephrase that, sir.
Yeah, I probably do. We have t-shirts available for sale now.
Hot damn.
Finally. You could go to prowrestlingtees.com/Houston Wrestling Radio, and you can go and pick up your brand new original HWR logo t-shirt, and they will print it out for you, mail it to you, and then you put it on your body and walk around, and then, haha, sucker, you're a walking billboard for us. So...
Way to sell the product.
Could have said it better myself.
Right.
I can see the truck just pulling up, the Brinks truck rolling up in reverse with all that money. Right here on the front door. After that sale.
True. Well, I mean, we may not have a Brinks truck rolling up here with money, but, part of the reason why we're doing this is so that we could try to start funding some of our expenses here for Houston Wrestling Radio. After the show for Clutch City Productions, we ran into a few expenses. We had to buy some business cards and banner and, this and that. So, we're trying to kind of help out with, instead of us paying completely out of pocket. So if you'd like to help support us, that'd be great. So that way we can, keep doing those type of things. Also, we're probably going to need some new equipment here soon. If anybody listened to our interview with Buff Bagwell, we probably need some little bit better sound quality when it comes to, interviews and this and that.
Don't blame it on them. Buff Bagwell sounded drunk. I didn't understand half the interview. It's Buff's fault.
It's not Buff's fault. Buff was a great guy.
I'm not judging his personality. I'm just judging his motor skills.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, anyway, basically what we're trying to say is your money will go straight towards helping us build our podcast, get new equipment, new software.
Beer.
Not beer. And,
That's your
basically
fund.
helping us go out to, these different conventions, different shows, and, just trying to grow our show. So if you'd like to support us monetarily, go buy a shirt.
It's like Kickstarter, but you get a shirt.
Exactly. There you go. Hey, we should do a Kickstarter.
No one's going to buy our shirt. Okay, keep on going.
Okay.
How about we just kick you?
For how much?
Houston Wrestling Radio with Chris and Travis.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What?
We're taking over.
I feel like Jeff Jarrett all of a sudden.
Go to Japan.
All right. So that's that. Go buy a shirt. Follow us on Twitter. Go to Facebook. Listen to us. Thank you. And that's it for the plugs. Later today, we are going to
Chris
have...
looks disappointed.
Oh, you wanted something else, Chris?
No, I was just expecting more from you.
Okay.
More pizzazz.
Well, sorry.
He just ran out. He's like, that's it.
That's all you get.
Yeah, you sound like an old Buick at the end.
Did I backfire, or was that me farting?
No, you just backfired.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Later today.
That was you that farted, wasn't it?
Yeah, sorry.
God, man, we haven't even gotten the food yet. You're already going off.
Mm-hmm.
Later in the episode today, we are going to have another special guest interview. Ruthless Ryan Davidson, a local indie guy. He's really good at being a jerk and a heel. And we
Kind of
love,
ruthless.
yeah, we love booing him. We love making fun of the guy, and he likes to,
Boo us back.
and, just jaw jack with the fans and whatnot. So this should be an interesting episode, interesting interview. So that should be fun.
Definitely one.
The show will be bad, but the interview should be good.
Right. So stick
right.
around at least a little bit.
Or just fast forward through this if you want.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, we should be expecting any minute here now, a ring on the doorbell or a knock at the door for, some pizza or something. Because, after all, last night, the Texans won.
Oh, yes.
Oh my god, that was a ridiculous game.
Oh my god, that was so awesome.
I fell asleep.
And because of that, not because of Travis falling asleep, but because of the Texans winning, we got a 50% discount on our pizza order.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, Papa John's does this partnership with NFL or whatever. So every Sunday every game that the Texans win, the next day is 50% off anything at Papa John's if you order online, and the coupon code is Texans.
Right.
It's still Texans, right? Because it was Texans.
Yeah,
last
it's
year.
Texans.
Okay.
It is. It still is.
So fill your face after every Texans victory.
Yeah. So hopefully this won't interrupt us at an inopportune time. But if you hear us all of a sudden cut and then eating while we're talking, you know what happened.
You'll know I'll be eating because I'll be talking with a mouthful.
Blame it on the Texans. Blame it on Cushing and all that. So there you go. That being said,
Yes.
Shall we get to wrestling talk for this week?
Well, it
Why
is a
not?
wrestling podcast.
Yes, it is.
We could just talk about RoboCop.
No,
we'll do it later.
Yeah,
We'll do it later.
We'll talk
I like
about that
that.
later.
We'll do it
Okay.
later. All right.
RoboCop. All right. So, we have a pay-per-view.
Yes.
Yes!
Night of Champions.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's going to be some interesting stuff, I believe. That means we probably have a bit of a prediction show that we need to do.
We try to keep a tradition of doing prediction shows before the pay-per-views.
Very true.
So
very
why
true.
break it now?
We won't.
No.
Darn it.
The hell you say?
The heck you say. Remember, we're still trying to watch our mouths.
The purgatory, you say?
That's interesting you went there. I mean, heck would have been a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
You threw a...
Purgatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. You kind of went there.
It's in between.
Yeah.
All right. So, do we want to talk about just WWE stuff in general, and then do the predictions for the pay-per-view?
Well, predictions. What's the predictions?
Predictions first?
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is going crazy around here. All right, predictions first. Let's start at the bottom. We're going to have on the pre-show,
Yes.
number one contendership for the tag team titles.
Tag team turmoil match.
Indeed. And it's going to be the Primetime Players versus the Usos versus Tons of Funk versus the Real Americans versus 3MB. That's five teams there.
10 guys, Abel. That's all for you, man.
Ooh. Well, 11, because 3MB has 3
Ooh.
members. Yeah. Well, All right, so...
More the barrier.
I hate you guys.
We get that a lot.
Yeah. All right. Tag team turmoil. Would anybody like to refresh my memory of the rules of a tag team turmoil match?
That's a good question, because I don't have a damn clue.
Okay.
I'm stuck on the title. Like, usually it's Fatal 4-Way with 4 teams, or 6-pack challenge with 6 teams. They couldn't do the Pentagon or something. They had to call it the turmoil, the tag team turmoil.
Well, I mean, what would you... A quintagonal beatdown?
The quintessential tag team tournament match.
Oh, there you go.
How about that?
I guess that could have worked. But, I don't know, tag team turmoil, that just kind of rolls off the tongue with all that alliteration there.
With all
you
the
know?
T's?
Yeah, with all the T's. Travis, are you looking up to see what the rules are?
Why
there?
would I be doing something like that? Who do you think is going to win this match?
Okay, well, let's talk about who do you think
Is
will
this
win
too easy to predict?
I don't know.
What-
Okay.
I'm assuming the easy choice would be the Primetime Players because of somebody coming out of the closet, suddenly getting this huge push.
You know, I first thought that, then I was like, no. They would. Really? Just because he comes out, he's going to get a big old push?
Well, let's think.
I mean, I don't know. I'm already still against the fact that he turned face all of a sudden because he came out, but,
Well, let's narrow this down a little bit. The winner of this match will face the Shield during the Night of Champions for the tag team titles. So, the Shield are heels, so they should be fighting face.
Should.
So, who out of these 5 teams are face? Well, Primetime Players, Usos, Tons of Funk. 3MB and Real Americans are not, so we may as well go ahead and discount
Right.
them. So it's down to those 3. Tons of Funk, Usos, primetime
Get
players.
rid of Tons of Funk too.
Yeah, Tons of Funk, they've been wallowing just at the bottom of the card. No, forget it. Usos, primetime players. Well, Usos have already had their shot. And, they've been more prominently displayed in the tag team division, but I think I gotta go with Chris on this one and say primetime players. Just by process of elimination.
Yeah.
The Usos have already had their shot.
Yeah.
So why not the primetime players?
Which I still say they should have won that match last time.
The only thing that gets in the way is that one of the Usos is getting a lot more airtime through this Diva show.
That's true.
So that's the only thing that process of elimination that throws a fork in it.
Okay.
But other than that, WWE has a pretty good history of striking the iron when it's very hot right in the beginning, and the sudden turn for the primetime players. They don't necessarily have to win the tag match, but at least to start a feud between them, I see them at least winning this tag team turmoil.
And just so there's no confusion.
Here we go.
There's no confusion on anything.
So you were looking.
Tag Team Turmoil is
looking.
another version of an elimination tag team match. The match has a team in each of the four corners to start the match.
Four corners, but there's 5 teams. Are we going to have five?
But as each team is eliminated, another team takes its place, similar to a gauntlet match.
Okay.
So there's no tags in this match.
A variation of Tag Team Turmoil took place at Night of Champions 2010. 2 teams start. When one is eliminated, a new team comes into the ring until all teams have competed. The remaining team is the winner.
It sounds like that they are actually tagging. I don't think it's under tornado rules. I think they do actually have to tag.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, cool. There we go. Hopefully.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Hopefully, that will span at least 30 minutes worth of the pre-show, because, the pre-show is usually an hour, and whenever they have a match on the pre-show, it's like 10 minutes, and that's it. I mean, for a 5-team elimination-style gauntlet match...
This is only a 30-minute pre-show, by the way.
Oh, it is?
It is?
Yes, it's a 30-minute. It starts at 6:30 Central.
Oh, okay. Well, then
Time
maybe it'll
zone
be
is
the
it?
whole damn 30 minutes.
Not likely.
No?
Because we have to watch 5 different versions of the same promo video that we're going to get before the pay-per-view starts.
During
and
the
then we'll
pay-per-view.
see that pay-per-view promo another 2 or 3 more times.
During the pay-per-view.
Okay. Well, Travis, what's your prediction?
You know what? Just to be different, Real Americans. Why not?
Okay. Why the hell not? Let's go with Real Americans.
Hell, WWE slapped this match together. Why can't I slap a prediction there?
Way to phone it in there,
There you
Travis. Yeah. All right.
That's what I do.
Okay. This is kind of related. So let's fast forward. Who is going to win the match with the Shield versus the winner of the tag team tournament?
For the titles.
Yeah. Is the Shield going to come out on top, or is the winner of the tag team turmoil match going to come out on top?
So there's something in my guts telling me the Shield's going to retain.
Okay. Trav, what do you think?
Well, if my prediction's Real Americans, I know they're not going to actually win the title, so I'm going with Shield.
Okay. I'm going to say they're going to go ahead and just slap the titles on the primetime players. Have them win. Get all this press and publicity from mainstream outlets and medias and all that, just for the fact, Darren Young's gay and now he has a title and blah, blah, blah. They're going to capitalize on it. At least I think that's what they're going to do. And the Shield doesn't really need the titles with this storyline that they're doing right now. They're prominent enough with being the goons of the corporation. They don't need the titles.
I take that. There's something about them being associated with the corporation and them having all the titles, like Orton, Ambrose, Reigns and Rollins. All of them have the belt. So if they are more prominent in with the corporation, this looks, like the stable has all the belts.
Okay.
So that part.
That is a fair point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm stopping right there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there you go. Fair point. We'll agree to disagree for right now. But I might change my mind after.
It's a double-edged thing there, because it looks cool with them all being part of the stable, having the titles, but at the same time,
they don't need it.
They don't need them. Yeah, really.
Yeah.
They're kind of already in the unstoppable team, so
I think for publicity's sake, I think the tag team titles will be more useful if they put it on the primetime players.
Nah. No. I'm not seeing it.
Okay. Well, we'll just have to wait and see on that one. Let's move on. This is Night of Champions. Traditionally, Night of Champions has every title on the line, but the Intercontinental title nor the U.S. title are on the line. As Mr. Helms would say, what's up with that?
Chris?
The hell are you looking at me for?
I didn't book this shit.
I didn't write that on my notes. Look at that. I'm drooling. Do you see that right there? That's how hungry I'm waiting for this goddamn food to show up. Oh. For this Mother Mary food to show up.
Mother Mary.
There's secondary mid-card titles. The feuds are building up to something bigger. It's not. This isn't going to be the first Night of Champions that every match wasn't a title match or every title wasn't defended. At this point, I'm willing to overlook that negative if the rest of the pay-per-view compensates for it.
Do you think that we're going to have an impromptu U.S. title match? Because Intercontinental title, that's tied up. But do you think...
were talking, Travis, about SmackDown, that they were building a feud with Ziggler and Ambrose? Or
yeah, SmackDown. First of all, SmackDown was a lot better show than last week's Raw, I thought.
Okay.
But that's
fair.
Yeah. But there was a build-up. Ziggler had a match with Ryback on SmackDown. During the match, Ambrose comes out, essentially costs him the match. Gets literally right in his face.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the beginning of them setting up a title match.
That was actually a continuation of not last night, but the Raw before it, where Ziggler had a mystery opponent, and then Ambrose jumped in and beat the hell out of him, and then he left as soon as Ryback's music hit.
That's right, yeah.
So it might be a continuation of what happened on that episode, or they could actually be building up to a title.
But then we get to Raw, and
Ziggler
nothing
gets
happened.
fed to the Wyatt family.
Yeah. I thought that was very strange.
I do not like the booking of that at all.
Yeah, I don't...
Had Ambrose had a hand in it, and for whatever reason, it would have made more sense storyline-wise.
But he didn't, nowhere there. Yeah, he was there.
But I guess that kind of conflicts with the Wyatts doing their thing, and why would the Wyatts need something? It's just.
But
it's
then
just
why
a whole
even
lot of
have
weird.
the match in the first place?
That's a good point.
If you wanted to just put over the Wyatts, they could have had the Wyatts face, I don't know,
Justin
Zack Ryder. Yeah.
Maybe they. I mean, granted, I guess he needed like a big profile win, and in this case, Ziggler would be a big profile win. But there's going to be someone else he could have fought.
Sticking to the topic really quick before I lose this train of thought, we talked last week about how CM Punk getting an Intercontinental title shot would be a downgrade from where he's been. Mm-hmm. Would you guys put Ziggler in that same category if he winds up fighting Ambrose in an impromptu match for the U.S. title? Would you think that would be a back? Would you rather have either one of those guys take a back step for the sake of a pay-per-view, or would you rather have them bite the bullet and not defend the titles for the greater good of the building up of the path of Punk and Ziggler?
Good point. More so for Punk than Ziggler. But yeah, Ziggler, if he's not a champion, doesn't become a champion in the near future. I think his last title run that he had was already marred with the concussion, and he didn't really do anything with that last title run. You've got to get some kind of title back, whether it's a U.S. title or World Heavyweight title.
You think that with them, if they slap the U.S. title on Ziggler, that would be kind of a test to see whether or not, he can be trusted, so to speak, with the World Heavyweight title?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping they would have already done something with Ziggler now that he did beat, or from the last pay-per-view. He got past, that's one thing we already said. He has to get past
Big E and AJ.
And he did.
Yeah.
And, what happened?
That's why the Night of Champions tradition thing isn't really spooking me on that era, because I think Ziggler's already in a bigger picture. He's one of the guys like Ziggler and The Miz who are standing up against Triple H.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So if you've already got this Raw group of people where Daniel Bryan and Big Show are standing up to Triple H on this show, and then you have SmackDown where Ziggler and The Miz are standing up to Triple H on this side of the fence, I'm thinking that could lead to Ziggler getting a World Heavyweight title shot down the line, to where it'll kind of mirror both the shows, where a face is the underdog fighting the machine, whether you're watching it on cable or whether you're watching it on whether Monday or on Friday.
Well, hopefully you're right. I hope that Ziggler could be one of the guys that's fighting the corporation, because let's be honest here, the corporation is a pretty big stable now.
Yeah.
And one guy can't be feuding with all of those guys just because of the numbers of it. You have so many top heels intertwined in this storyline that Daniel Bryan, I mean, yeah, we can all buy that he could kick all their asses. That's not what I'm saying, that, he can't kick everyone's ass. No, what I'm saying is that you're tying up so much roster real estate with the heels in this storyline. You have to have another face to feud with them. That way you get, a couple more matches out of it and have more legs on it. But I don't know if that's where they're actually going with Ziggler, especially because of this whole left turn at Albuquerque where he fought the Wyatt family. Like, it made no freaking sense of him fighting them and losing to them. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, with no interference from the Shield or Ambrose or anything. There's like no anything connection to that.
So, is this a prediction, yes or no, that we're going to have Ziggler versus Ambrose at the pay-per-view? Impromptu.
No.
No?
I don't think so.
Travis? Yes or no?
Hate to say it, but no.
No? I'm predicting no on this one also, against my hopes.
Yeah, that's
I hope it's a yes.
That's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
I think tying it into what happened on Raw, I think this is where Ziggler might actually where I'm predicting wild booking that this is how Ziggler ends up back in the title feud. We started off Raw with Edge putting over Daniel Bryan. God, those Toronto fans.
Oh yeah, they were so good.
They had their moments, but in that moment they were good. And then Triple H, Edge commented on Triple H that he didn't have the eye for talent.
Mm-hmm.
This would be an opportunity where Triple H advises Sandow to cash in the belt, saying, you know what, to hell with you, what you think, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm picking Sandow, the new guy, to cash in, and he's going to be my champion on SmackDown. And that's where we get Sandow versus Ziggler, because Ziggler's bucking the establishment on that show.
That would be interesting, and I think that would work if the brand split was more prominent than what it is now. So I don't think that they're actually going to go with that, although I love that idea.
Because the problem is there is no brand split now.
Right.
So it's easy to just, since they're already playing off Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton on both Raw and SmackDown, who's to say that they can't play off Sandow and Ziggler both on Raw and SmackDown too?
Because of the World Heavyweight title, that's almost pointless.
It's an afterthought right
now.
now.
Speaking of which, we have, ADR versus RVD.
Okay.
Speaking of afterthoughts.
No kidding. Yeah, Jesus.
Okay, ADR.
Raise your hand if you're looking forward to this match.
Nobody's raising their hands.
None of us are.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. This is 3 months ago. We were hyping RVD coming back, pointing the thumbs, doing the Rolling Thunder, doing all that. And now we're like,
You know what? I think it could be a good match. It might even steal the show.
On SmackDown about a month or two ago. Yeah. That was a good match.
Yeah, but storyline wise, everything else that's going into it, like I don't care. I don't care if RVD has it. I don't care.
It's a bad storyline. I mean, bad just in general, all the way around. The whole Ricardo, numero uno amigo. I mean,
Ricardo does not belong with RVD.
No, it makes no sense at all.
Yeah. I don't care.
Rob is not a word that you should be rolling your R's with if you were saying it in Spanish.
Rob.
He goes, Rob. Like, it doesn't,
it just doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Roberto. I fucked that up bad. I mean,
yeah, there's no L in Roberto. Roberto, like, no.
Yeah, I can. Okay.
All right, so
anyway,
I just jumped around. So
prediction: who's gonna win it?
Man, honestly, I don't care.
Status quo, ADR.
Yeah,
keep the status quo.
I don't see what would be gained from RVD getting the title unless a cash in from Sandow.
That's what I was about to say. Would this? Well, no, it wouldn't be. Would it be more attractive to have Sandow cash it in against a heel, or would it be more attractive to have Sandow cash it in against RVD, even if it has to be just like SummerSlam where Bryan wins it and all of a sudden Sandow takes the cake?
Yeah.
Because we did get Jack Swagger, a heel, cashing it in on Chris Jericho, the heel, the night after WrestleMania. And that dynamic, I actually liked it at the moment, the whole presentation of that. Because you could see the crowd kind of turn.
It is very rare that WWE does that. Does heel versus heel stuff. That's more of a TNA thing, where they do heel on heel. But I really don't see Sandow cashing in. So, okay, 2 predictions in 1. ADR is going to retain. Sandow's not going to cash it in.
I agree.
Okay. Trav?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, we all agree there. Ta-da.
Wow, we're all agreeing on stuff. Jeez.
Yeah, well, all right. We alluded to this earlier when we were talking about the U.S. title and the IC title. The IC title is kind of tied up in Punk versus Curtis Axel and Paul Heyman in an elimination style handicap match.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I am too. But I don't know if the payoff that they're teasing is actually going to happen. I don't think we're going to see Punk get his hands on Heyman.
Yeah, and I agree with that because I think we're going to see a new Heyman guy.
Thank you.
Ooh.
I was thinking the same thing. Because
SmackDown and Raw, Heyman is like, what am I doing with this guy? He's losing and he's costing me.
You mean with Curtis Axel?
Yeah,
yeah.
The SmackDown is priceless. So Curtis Axel lost to Kofi,
and he dropped the title.
I was like, what the? And then on Raw, he got himself disqualified. Heyman's freaking out. Like, if that happens on the pay-per-view, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
You know, why are you doing that? You know, and he's like, I don't care. I think because of that, I think Axel's going to lose. And then there's going to be a big stare down, whatever, with Punk and Heyman, and then maybe someone's music hits or something. We're going to see some.
You don't think it's just going to be Brock?
No.
Yeah.
And I was going to jump on that side of the coin, agreeing with you, because Brock's history since he's been back, Extreme Rules against John Cena, because that was the first pay-per-view since he returned.
Mm-hmm.
SummerSlam against Triple H. WrestleMania against Triple H. And then Extreme Rules after WrestleMania due to build the storyline and where Lesnar won again. Extreme Rules being the B pay-per-view following WrestleMania, that's probably the exception to the rule. I don't see him showing up on Night of Champions. I don't see him showing up on Battleground. I don't see him showing up at Hell in a Cell. Well, maybe Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, because I mean, with Extreme Rules.
Yeah, maybe Hell in a Cell in a cage in a cell match against Punk. Definitely Survivor Series being one of the big four. I don't see him doing anything this weekend at all.
Yeah.
That's it. By that process of elimination, for me, is how I predict with like Travis that there's going to be a new guy coming.
Okay, who's the new guy?
I don't know. I don't know what to say on that one. I don't want to ruin anything. I don't want to say something and I get disappointed. So
okay,
I'll say it for you.
Okay,
Sami Zayn.
Really? Sami Zayn? Huh?
What's the connection?
None whatsoever. I'm just thinking Paul Heyman likes guys that he's said a lot of things in recent ECW interviews and ECW documentaries where, for example, where the people that he gets, it's for a reason. When he got Kurt Angle in the WWE version of ECW, that was something Paul Heyman wanted when Kurt Angle first went into ECW in 96 or 97, the night that they did the crucifixion of the Sandman.
Yeah.
That night he was there and he wanted out. He picked Punk because that's the epitome of ECW. You see this guy and you see, man, he doesn't belong in wrestling at all. And then you see him in the ring and you're like, holy crap, this guy belongs in ECW.
Right.
Curtis Axel, he's a fan of generation, second generation, third generation guys. I think Sami Zayn, after the match we saw on television, him looking around at NXT guys also, I think Travis mentioned that he's been on a couple episodes of NXT. Yeah. That would be a guy that if Paul Heyman were trying to build ECW right now, he would, just like that little claw game where you just handpick the toy you want, he would handpick Sami Zayn to be in that group.
I'm on board with all of that you just said, except
the person.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because nobody knows who he is. That's why.
Well, Sami Zayn, Generico, he to me seems like he's one of those guys who's just a natural babyface. I don't know if he would do well as a heel. You know, I mean, his Twitter handle is, I like Sami Zayn. Like, come on. You know, he seems to be way more entertaining as a face than a heel. So to debut him as a heel, I think would be kind of a disservice to him. But then again, dropping the whole El Generico gimmick was a disservice to him. So, what the heck, why not? But, I don't know. I don't know if he could pull that off. So, maybe, yeah.
Here's an interesting thought. It won't happen, but, okay, we have the, World Heavyweight title match. ADR beats RVD. Later on, we have the elimination match scenario we just came up with. RVD comes out.
That's too easy.
RVD.
No.
Heyman guy. Then we have, that would be a feud with RVD and CM Punk. That'd be a good, little series of matches there.
Maybe, but then they'd have to find something to do with Ricardo and...
Who gives a shit about Ricardo?
It's not even that. But as soon as RVD returned, that should have been acknowledged. that
Yeah.
RVD was a Paul Heyman guy. The fact that it wasn't, to me, there wouldn't be any explanation storyline-wise for me to buy RVD suddenly being a heel.
The iron's not hot anymore.
As a Paul Heyman guy. It just wouldn't
That's what I said. I don't see it happening, but as a thought I had in my head.
Okay. All right, we've analyzed the crap out of that. So basically, we think that there's going to be shenanigans at the end of this match after what's his name loses. Okay, what are you going to say, Chris?
I gave a suggestion. Travis gave a suggestion. You haven't.
A suggestion of who it could be?
Who would your ideal Paul Heyman guy be?
Ooh.
Thank you, Chris.
Oh man, that's a tough one. You know what? I don't know. Maybe it could be somebody that just hasn't been on the roster for a while. Maybe somebody that was injured. You know what? Tyson Kidd.
You're just throwing that name.
I am.
You lazy bastard.
Well, I mean, I can't really think of anyone else that would fit the mold.
So Brock Lesnar, and then Curtis Axel, and then Tyson Kidd?
Yeah.
Tyson Kidd?
No.
You want a high-level feud between Punk and Tyson Kidd?
Well, who else would it be? I mean, I don't know. I'm not thinking that's a great pick.
That's just the first name you thought.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm definitely not advocating that should be who it is. Please. No.
Oh, because he was on Total Divas and he can't get married or he can't get an erection. Oh, we're gonna pick Tyson Kidd and we're gonna get some viewers. Straight edge against erection free. Yeah.
Right. All right. Let's move on. We'll see who it is, and hopefully we're all wrong on that, and Punk will finally get his hands on the Walrus and.
Did we make a prediction? Who's winning?
Punk.
No.
Because it's an elimination match. Punk has to beat both of them.
Right.
I think Punk will get, there'll be shenanigans. There'll be some sort of DQ, so it doesn't really matter who won or who lost, who the DQ's on. Okay. But the end of the story is that Punk didn't get his hands on Heyman, and Heyman has a new Heyman guy.
Okay. All right, that sounds good.
There we go. Okay. Híjole. All right.
Are we making you work today, Abel?
Yes, you are. All right, let's move on to the next one. We have a Divas title match, 4-way, between AJ. Ooh,
I3.
AJ, Natalya, Brie Bella, and Naomi. I don't know who to pick in this one, honestly.
I don't either, but you know what? I like the last two. I like SmackDown, what they did on SmackDown, and then the follow. I like SmackDown more than what they did on Raw. But.
What they did on Raw kind of threw me off because I thought the Bellas were heel, yet they put the heel with Natalya.
That's why I didn't like that.
It threw me off. It looked good. Like, if I could just disconnect my brain and not and forget the fact that these three aren't supposed to, they hate each other. Brie and the other two don't get along. But
right.
They look good for the purpose of these three against AJ.
Yeah, the Total Divas versus the regular Divas. Yeah. Right.
But, man, at this point, to be honest, they're all, at the end of the day, they're all winners because that show is just doing is doing better than anyone would have imagined it would have done for the Divas division.
That's true.
So it doesn't matter who wins. At the end of the day, the division is going to wind up being better for it.
So that's a cop out. Who do you think is going to win?
I want Naomi's ass.
Naomi's ass is your prediction.
You need to put reflectors on that thing, man. I'm telling you.
Well, her outfit is kind of sequence stuff.
It is. It's very shiny.
Yeah.
By process of elimination, I think AJ's going to keep it.
Okay. AJ will retain. You know what? I'm going to disagree. And I'm going to say, you know what? They're going to slap it on Natalya. Why not? Natalya, Natalya, she's the best out of all of those in the ring. She's on Total Divas, but she's not like the focal point of Total Divas, so why not?
She has the most wrestling pedigree out of the four. I wouldn't say she's the best out of the four.
Who would you say is the best out of the four?
AJ.
Really? Best wrestler? Really?
Yeah, there's been a couple of Natty's matches that have looked a little bit sloppy, but I don't know if she's to blame or if her competition in the ring is to blame. AJ, because AJ, the only thing we've really had is to work with Caitlyn, and they've had good, all the matches we've seen of AJ.
Where is Caitlyn at?
Yeah, what the hell happened to Caitlyn?
Back with the rest of the My Little Pony girls, I don't care. AJ's had good matches with Caitlyn, and that's the only thing we have to base her heel title run on. As opposed to Natty, some of her matches...
All right, Trav, what do you think?
AJ. She's going to do some kind of heelish thing to slither out of that match there.
Okay. Fine with that. Oh, you know what will be the heelish thing? Get the rest of those divas back out there. Layla, Oksana, Alicia Fox.
Oh
they'll
my
get
god,
involved.
Asana looked so delicious on Raw last night. Oh my god, that one piece. Where in the hell is our food getting here?
Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see with all this, and hopefully it'll just be an entertaining match. Okay, last match of the night. We have Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE title.
We went through the whole card already?
Yeah.
Yeah, not much of a card on this pay-per-view.
Well, let's see here.
Unless something changes on SmackDown.
Well, that's another reason why I was thinking, well, maybe there'll be an impromptu U.S. title match. Because the card's not...
You know, Kofi got a win over the IC champ. Maybe they'll turn that in, he's not going to fight Curtis at the pay-per-view, but maybe he'll get some kind of match on the pay-per-view.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
U.S.
we'll
title? U.S. title?
But Kofi versus Ambrose? That wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, not everything makes sense.
No, Kofi got a win over Axel.
That's what we're saying.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah, you just said Ambrose.
I did, on purpose.
Oh.
Because he said that, maybe he'll get a shot at the U.S. title.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That was a weird tangent. Let's get back to what we were
Welcome
trying to
to
talk
Houston
about.
The main
Wrestling
event match.
Yes. Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan, WWE title. Okay. We talked about this last week, about how you were saying that you wanted to see D-Bry kind of get the upper hand at some point. And he kind of did get the upper hand a little bit there.
Kinda, he did.
Well, okay, he did.
Eventually.
Yeah. I
You didn't
I
buy
don't
it?
like it. And the reason why I don't like it is because, well, that increases the chances of D-Bry not winning the title. And my prediction is that Orton's going to retain.
My prediction is Orton, but not because of that.
Okay. Explain yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
If D-Bry wins it already in the feud, it's kind of taking some of the sizzle out of this feud. I still think it's got to be a longer chase for D-Bry to beat the odds.
Let me play devil's advocate here a little bit. I agree with you that D-Bry will win, but let me just kind of... How would he finagle himself into another title shot? Because the only reason he's getting this title shot is because he gets his rematch because he lost the title to Orton in the first place.
Well, because look what Triple H has been doing. Fight the Shield. And his other handicap. I can see Triple H doing, okay, you beat all these guys, tonight, and then you beat them all, then you can have another title shot.
Well,
make him work for it.
Okay, I don't
What,
see
Abel?
that.
What's wrong, Abel?
I don't see that happening because why would Triple H as a character be motivated to give another opportunity to Daniel Bryan if he loses straight up to Randy Orton?
Because it's good for business.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
Steve Austin, from the time that he dished the Intercontinental title to the time that he won the WWE title, well, even before then, when he stunned Vince McMahon in Madison Square Garden, that was in September of 97. It took until March of 98 at WrestleMania for Steve Austin to finally win the belt the first time.
Okay.
And all that was with McMahon, the feud with Austin and McMahon starting. If you don't buy Orton, Bryan or Orton or whatever's going on, this trend just came in the station while y'all were talking.
Thanks for the heads up.
Orton wins this Sunday because of shenanigans. Bryan gets his rematch at Battleground. He wins.
But why does Bryan get that rematch? That's where my problem comes in.
Well, let him finish.
Okay.
Because Bryan will fight. They'll throw. Okay, well you'll have to fight the Big Show, and if you beat the Big Show, you get your title match.
Yeah, there'll be some kind of match like that where that's the
Battleground. Bryan will get his rematch. He'll win. Hell in a Cell. Orton, Daniel Bryan. Orton wins, and that's where Triple H comes in and says, "All right, you've already been champion again. You're not getting another title shot," and that leads into Bryan winning the Royal Rumble. That now he has to get the title shot because it's the Royal Rumble. You won it.
Okay.
And that's when we finally get the culmination of Bryan, Orton, or whoever the next corporate champion would be. And that's where we get a face run with Bryan as a champion, a la Steve Austin, with Triple H throwing A, B, C, D, E, F at him until G finally takes the belt from him.
Okay.
And that's all. I just booked the next 6 months of the company. You're welcome. How about them apples?
we need to send an email to creative.
Yeah.
But is that to your liking, Abel, or do
No,
you still? Okay.
it's still not to my liking. Just because of the question.
Because you're hungry, that's why.
Well, that too. Just because of what I brought up when I interrupted you, which is pretty much why would Triple H even give him another opportunity?
Because it's good for business.
Okay.
That's his whole thing.
Well, yeah, his whole thing is, good for business, but in the Triple H character, in his head, Daniel Bryan's not good for business. So why would he give anything to this guy that he thinks is not good for
Okay, here we
business?
go. He'll give him, Brian will complain that he didn't get a fair shake, so Triple H will say, alright, I'll give you this opportunity. You fight the Big Show. You beat him, you get a rematch. You don't beat him, you can join Cody and Dustin on the unemployment line.
Okay, so
That's good for business.
Yeah, his greed to want to try to get him fired, and then Daniel Bryan overcomes. I'm okay with that. All right, there you go. So it is possible.
Here's another scenario, I guess.
Okay.
It probably won't happen at this time, but maybe later on. With Cody being gone and all this other stuff, I thought maybe at some point we're going to see some kind of face authority figure. Maybe one of the McMahons turning. And then rehiring Cody and maybe helping out D-Bry or something.
Okay. Yeah, because eventually, somehow, we got to get Cody
Remember,
back on TV.
Steve Austin got fired. Shane rehired him.
That's true.
Yeah. But that was way later in the storyline. That's
what I'm saying. I didn't say this was going to happen soon. I said like maybe later on, because they got to bring Cody back somehow.
Somehow Cody will have to come back.
Yeah.
Which, there's no face authority figures to do that right now. Somebody has to be a face authority figure.
If anybody's going to be Vince. Vince, when he was on TV, he was kind of quiet. I mean, Triple H and Stephanie are definitely taking the reins on this one. I mean, Vince is like a secondary character in my mind.
Okay.
It'd be easier for him to say, because everybody will do whatever Vince says. If it's acceptable for him to turn face and go heel again.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So the official prediction between me and you, Travis, was that Orton was going to win.
Yeah.
I've got
Chris?
Orton winning too.
Okay. There we go. Yeah. Bam. There's our predictions. Hoorah.
Ta-da.
Ta-da. Yes.
Kind of sounds like a lackluster card now that we've gone over it.
Yeah, now that we went match by match, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot to it. I don't know. Maybe there will be a U.S. title match. I think that'll round out the card a little bit.
Yeah, because right now there's, 5 matches?
Yeah, let's see. There's the WWE title, the World Heavyweight title, the Divas title, the Punk whatever, the Tag title.
That's it.
That's 5. Yeah.
5 matches on a pay-per-view? That's... Something else is gonna be on there.
Yeah.
Miz Fandango. Impromptu.
That'll be thrown in.
Oh, yeah.
We've been getting a lot of that in the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Miz Fandango or something with Ziggler.
Or Ziggler.
Yeah. Well,
maybe there'll be an appearance by the Wyatts and they'll show Kane.
Oh, yeah. Maybe something with that will finally happen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to a different thing here. We had a whole lot of freaking match of the week candidates this week. So much that we're turning it into its own freaking segment this go around. We did kind of already hit on one of them a little bit earlier when we were talking about Ziggler. That being the match of Ryback versus Dolph Ziggler on SmackDown. Travis, I believe you're the one that nominated that one as a match of the week candidate.
I did, or do you not agree?
I did not agree. Mostly because it didn't seem very memorable to me. All right.
To me, it was this very fluid, quick match. Ziggler, for whatever reason, he looked really sharp against Ryback. I do like the fact that he's using the Famouser a lot more, but I don't like the fact that it's like a setup move. It's not even like an actual...
It's not his finisher.
Right. It's just a move that he does. But the fact that they're calling it Famouser is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm glad that they finally freaking named that and they're calling it the Famouser.
Just like the last match that Cody had last week. I don't know if you guys picked up on it. Either JBL, somebody in the announce team called... Oh, no. It was an episode of Superstars the week before Cody's match.
Superstar
main event. Where Cody wrestled...
Same difference.
Yeah.
Cody wrestled somebody, and Alex Riley was doing commentary, and he actually called the Muscle Buster on air. Even though it wasn't it was a setup. It wasn't the finisher. It was just a setup move. But he actually dropped the Muscle Buster line on air.
Wow.
That's great. If I still watch main event, I probably would have got that.
Yeah, God, I haven't seen
And it
main
sucks
event.
that we can't drop it now because Cody's not here.
Right. Okay, so that's one match of the week. There's another one from SmackDown. Obvious. Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins. That was a pick that I wanted to throw on there. The one thing that I really want to highlight from that match is the end sequence where Rollins coming off of the top rope gets caught into the no lock. Reigns and Ambrose come up to the apron. Drop kick. Then, D-Bry tries to turn his attention back to Rollins. Rollins is up, tries to throw a clothesline, misses. Then D-Bry goes and does the suicide dive outside to the ring on Reigns. And then Ambrose tries to come help him out. Nope, hip toss onto Ambrose. Back into the ring, bam, running knee onto Rollins. It was like 7 moves on 3 guys, all high octane, crisp, clean, fast offense that Daniel Bryan pulled off to get that win. That alone, forget the other 5-10 minutes before that. That alone right there was enough to make me say that's a match of the week candidate.
Well, if that's a match of the week candidate for you,
okay,
then one of my match of the week candidates is going to be Santino Marella against Antonio Cesaro.
Go for
The
it.
Toronto crowd, there were moments where they didn't know when to shut their pie holes. Cesaro did a perfect example of how you shut them up. He did the roundabout, the twirly, the helicopter thing, and the crowd was they're chanting something. I don't know what the hell they were chanting. Then 10 seconds later, he's still going, and the crowd starts quieting down a little bit. 15 seconds later, he's still going, and the crowd he's winning the crowd over as time goes by. Another 15 seconds, they would have been airborne.
Yeah.
That crowd made that if you were to just hear the audio of WrestleMania 18 in the Sky Dome with Hulk Hogan against The Rock, and you compared that audio, the way the crowd was going back and forth with Santino Marella versus Antonio Cesaro, you might not have noticed the difference.
I think that's an overstatement.
Try it. From the beginning when Santino came out. No, even before when Cesaro came out and Zeb's twirling the mustache and making fun of Canadians, just because they're in Canada, they don't get spared the wrath. Santino comes out, coming back from injury. Santino sold it good. Cesaro, right off the bat, drop kicks him in the mouth. Santino winning by roll up instead of the Cobra. If this is another one of those little examples, just like you like the Ryback Ziggler match because there was 9 minutes of awesome. It wasn't a huge main event match. It wasn't long. It wasn't drawn out. It was quick for what it was. It was really good.
Right.
That's the same candidacy worthiness of this, that for the 8 or 9 minutes this match was, it was very entertaining.
It was entertaining.
Very entertaining. And when you have a storyline of, I hate the corporation, and I'm mad at my girlfriend, and all this other stuff, and whatever, having that dose of just entertainment to like blend in with everything else, that was like the cherry on top. And that's what that was. It was really good. If you want to get somebody into wrestling, hey, watch this match. What, do I need to know anything about it? Nah, just watch it. In that moment, that crowd went from bad to good. Well, it went from good then to bad then to good, and then it was just all.
Yeah, because they were just kind of shitting on the match before, and then
after the intros and everything,
he literally swung the crowd around.
I see what you did there.
Yes. Okay. Now we have another one. We have Daniel Bryan versus Dean Ambrose on Raw. Now, I like that match a lot. The same way how I liked Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins. But I like the Rollins match a little bit better. Maybe it's because of the finish. Maybe it was because of the finish of the one on SmackDown that I liked so much. But I definitely want to nominate that one as a candidate and see what you guys think. But for me, I already telling you my pick. My pick is D-Rye versus Rollins. Okay.
Well, let's get to the rest of the nominations there. You're just...
Okay. Well, we have another one. Goldust versus Randy Orton on Raw. Another darn good match. Man, Goldust freaking brought it.
In front of both of you, I am saying farewell to Blandy Borton. Or Blandy Borton, or whatever. Because he is officially interesting. You can't just have 2 or 3 match of the weeks in a row and still be called or still have gripes with Orton.
We do the same thing with Del Rio.
No, right now Del Rio he's fallen off now.
Yeah.
Like these last couple of weeks, Del Rio's his stocks went, but
right.
Orton it's official. Like it's not Blandy Borton no more. He's in. That match with Goldust, and by the way, that should have ended the show. The build-up with all the vignettes of Goldust, and the way the match finished, and the heat and everything, even as good as that match was, that should have ended the show.
I agree in the fact that when the match first came on, there was a commercial break or something. I hit fast forward and I saw the timer was at 2 hours. I was like, oh crap, there's another hour. I thought this was the main event. It was
pretty good enough to be a main event.
Yeah, I thought it was the main event. I lost track of time. I was thinking this was the
if you wanted to have your way of not having the show end with Brian finally getting his comeuppance or Orton getting his comeuppance, this would have been a perfect ending, having Orton beaten Goldust, because that match was top notch. You know, Goldust coming back, he's still in good ring shape. Oh, yeah. He looked like he didn't miss a beat. Right. And it looked like they had genuine chemistry between the two, because there wasn't any hiccups, there wasn't any botching. Everything just looked really good.
And the story told everything.
And the story just reinforced everything.
Speaking of the story, there's one thing that I want to highlight from that match, and it's the fact that Goldust did Crossroads. You know, Goldust has never done that before. That's his brother's move. Yeah, I've never seen him, pull that out. And I think that added to
setup too. I mean, the way that played out.
Yeah, the way it was countered. He countered an RKO.
Saw the match last week.
Yeah, he countered the RKO into the crossroads, and it added. Not only was it a cool move that he was able to pull out, but the fact that it was his brothers. Right. Yeah, it added to the story.
The crowd popped for it. They said,
because they didn't see it coming.
Yeah,
like I was thinking curtain call. Goldust's old finisher. Like, I wasn't thinking Crossroads.
Yeah. And he could have just as easily done the curtain call because, it's Goldust.
It's the same setup. It's the same, put the head in there.
But it just added and tied into the storyline that he's fighting for his brother. And it reminded people that were watching the match, it's like, he just did Cody's move. Yeah, because he's fighting for Cody. And it was kind of like a tribute to Cody almost. So it made perfect sense. He executed it well. It came out of nowhere. It was surprising. People popped. That right there, that little detail was just great.
That's my pick for match of the week.
That's your pick?
Yeah.
Okay, we have one more candidate before we say what our picks are, although I think we all said our picks except for Travis. The 12-man Battle Royal Gauntlet match on Impact, aka
the Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble, right.
That's what you call a legal loophole to get out of that.
Right, yeah. I'm not 100% sold on this match, but, I think, Travis, you put it down here on your list, so defend yourself, sir.
It's a Royal Rumble on TV. Everybody likes Royal Rumble, right?
All right. Chris?
I saw it. I wasn't thinking match of the week when I saw it.
Me either.
I was trying to give TNA the benefit of the doubt.
Okay. You know what? That's fine.
You didn't see it?
No, I saw it.
Oh, okay.
No, I saw it, but I was trying to give them something on the show,
You're trying to throw them a bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the matches on Impact sucked.
Yeah.
But that's another...
Well, let's get to Impact.
Well, no, not yet. Let's not get to Impact yet.
I'll say, my match of the week was D-Rod versus Rollins.
Okay, and that's mine also. And then, Chris, you're saying Goldust versus Orton.
Yeah.
Listeners, if you guys want to chime in on what you think should be match of the week, go ahead and do so. Let us know. You could tweet us at H Wrestling Radio or send us a message on Facebook, facebook.com/Houston Wrestling Radio. It was a good freaking week, for wrestling.
Can I ask a question?
From WWE.
Sure.
Yeah. Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Who does Daniel Bryan have better chemistry with in the ring? Rollins or CM Punk?
Oh,
it's got to be CM Punk because I don't think Bryan was in the company long enough to have many matches with Seth Rollins. I think Bryan
really
had many.
Go back and look.
As Tyler Black, I don't remember Bryan.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking since December of this last year when Shield came out.
So you're not even going that far back?
No, I'm just talking about since he's been in WWE. Who does Daniel Bryan have better chemistry
That's not the right question because you can't just discount ROH and you can't.
Yeah, I can. They've had plenty of matches on WWE TV.
Yeah, but you can't just say, these 5 matches are or this is why we've done why we work so well together if they've been working well together for 8 years before then. So that the way you phrase that question doesn't fly. Like you can't just say, from here to here, who's got the best chemistry? We can't pretend that the past history doesn't exist because it's there. It's Punk Bryan. It's Punk because of the history. Like there's only been a handful of matches from what I can remember of Bryan Danielson against Tyler Black, who, for anyone doesn't know, was Seth Rollins in Ring of Honor, and there was a lot of Bryan Punk in Ring of Honor, so they have a lot of play time.
Well, they have more history, but we're not talking about who has more history. We're talking about who has better chemistry. That's two different things. And you know what? I really don't know. I mean, Punk Bryan, man, those matches are great, but Punk Rollins, he's had great matches.
So in your defense there, so what you're saying, it's because of their history that they do have good chemistry. But with Daniel Bryan and Rollins, every time they're in a match together, it's not even with...
But you can say the same about when Punk and Bryan are in a match together. Every time they're in a match together, it's freaking
The reason
gold.
that they look so well together, separated, is because of that style. The three of them have that Ring of Honor style of wrestling. They don't... If you watch a DVD of Ring of Honor and you watch a pay-per-view of WWE, you can tell it's night and day.
Right.
The fact that those three have that repertoire in the background, repertoire means resume. For anybody that doesn't know, because Travis is staring at me cross-eyed.
Get out the dictionary app.
Yeah, that's why they can do that. That's why it kind of feels the same.
And that goes back to my question. Who has better chemistry?
Ooh, man, that's... You're asking us to split hairs here, honestly. Like, they both have very good chemistry with each other. You know, I would say, just for the sake that they've been feuding more, and this might just be a bias because I've seen it more recently, I'd say D. Bryan Rollins. But I could be wrong. That's not saying that D. Bryan and Punk don't have chemistry, but just for the sake of answering the question so we can move on, I say D. Bryan Rollins.
I would, and for the opposite reason, I'd say Punk, D. Bryan, because these matches that have been happening on SmackDown with Rollins, I haven't seen them. Honestly, I could say that's why I didn't comment about your match of the week picks on SmackDown, because I didn't see it. I've seen more of Punk. That's
why you picked Goldust Orton.
The reason I picked
Santino.
The stuff of Rollins and Bryan I've seen are only these 6-man tags and pay-per-view tag matches where we get bits and pieces of what they could be.
Yeah,
and like 5-minute matches on Raw. I've seen a full 25-minute match of Punk Bryan. I haven't really seen a full 25-minute Bryan Rollins match for me to compare the two to say, you know what, this is what I would. So I can't. That's why I.
After we're done recording, we're gonna pop on SmackDown and have you watch that damn
Was it
match.
that long?
They don't have to be. They don't have to be 25-minute matches. I mean, why does the time matter?
I'm just trying to get it. I'm trying to judge it equally. You know, like I'm not gonna just say something like a chemistry of 40 matches compared to chemistry of 8. Like I want to at least try to get more.
He wants a bigger sample size.
There you go.
Yeah.
To get it to make a better informed opinion.
All right, let's move on. Listeners, you want to chime in on that? Feel free. Okay.
Yeah, those are 4 minutes we're never going to get back.
I know.
Can we edit that?
Okay.
Just cut it.
Yeah, a little bit. We'll cut it out.
Wow. Forgive me for trying to have a discussion on a talk show.
Yeah, Travis.
Silly me.
Nah, it was good. It just felt like I just went in circles.
Yeah.
I think we all just went in circles here.
A little bit. You know,
Next time I'll give you a warning.
You know what will be interesting to see is Punk Rollins. Yeah. I don't think we've seen that yet.
No, we haven't.
That would be interesting to see.
No?
No. Punk, ever since Shield, the interaction with Punk and Shield was because they were both heels. We haven't seen any interaction of Punk with Shield.
We haven't seen any
with Punk
Rollins
as an anti-hero.
Yeah,
and we never saw Punk Tyler Black. At least I don't think.
Ooh,
Ring of Honor. Yeah, you guys haven't. I think I think there was a match of Punk and Rollins in Ring of Honor before Punk
Think
left.
so?
Yeah.
Okay. Woo! All right. Last couple of things here. For WWE. Well, actually, the last thing is Edge. Edge came back. Yay! One night only. Well, no, because he's going to be on SmackDown also, so I guess that's not really one night only. But hey,
supposedly tonight it's going to be Edge and Christian.
Yeah,
doing something, but I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully, that should be good. So, will it be the Cutting Edge or will it be the Peep Show, or the Cutting Peep?
Don't do that.
The Peep Edge.
The Peep Edge.
The Peep Edge. No. You can cut this out too.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll do that. All right. Anyway, when Edge came back, and he kicked off Raw, I thought it was really good. Of course, he was going to be chiming in on the main event thing, which I totally expected. With Triple H and D. Bryan. It came off pretty good, and of course that crowd. Oh my God, that crowd! They really put over the fact that Edge was there. Of course, it's Toronto, it's his hometown, whatever. But what I really, really, really liked was the little backstage segment after the commercial, where he busts on into Triple H's little backstage room, and there's the Shield and Triple H, and they had a little back and forth there. Oh, man, that really, really, really made me want to see Edge fight Triple H and, have that payoff match of Edge versus Triple H. I know we're never going to get it because Okay, Chris, what's
You don't think we might?
I mean, they've said that he's never wrestling again.
It's been 2 years since the neck injury that put him out. Had plenty of time to heal.
He
can have WrestleMania 30.
I thought that was something that couldn't heal, though.
Doesn't look like it's not healed.
Well, thank you, Dr. Chris.
I mean, no, it's not like he walked out with a brace and a wheelchair. He did everything like he looked like he didn't. If I would have never told you, you would have never known that he had neck surgery. He looked just fine.
Right. It's not
he's not the only wrestler that has had a neck injury and that was told you're never going to wrestle again.
He's the person that's actually adhering to the doctor's advice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that he can't have one more match.
He could.
But back to your point, it was a good segment it just showed the establishment, Triple H having his goons or whatever, in front of him, and then they're all kind of staring down Edge, and he's like, Edge is wanting to do something, but he couldn't.
Yeah.
And Ambrose the whole time, just a little smirk on his face.
Yeah.
Like, come on, do something.
Yeah, I really, really like that backstage segment. Oh, I wish that we could see that, but I think, Chris, that it's never going to happen, but I don't know. Chris is still giving me that look like it could happen. Spoilers. Yeah.
Oh no, SmackDown's happening right now. I'm not even looking at my phone, so I don't get chewed out by you guys.
Is that it for WWE talk?
No, because there is something out there that's been happening that's freaking gross.
Gross?
And this is coming from me.
Ooh. It's gross.
So there's been this wrestling convention that happened a few weeks ago.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're
where
doing.
One of my favorite divas of all time,
the original diva,
Sunny Tammy Sytch, has been trying to find a new way to make some of that extra coin.
Oh man!
So
mighty have fallen.
Apparently, if you pay like $50, you get a picture with Tammy in the bed while she's wearing lingerie
and a robe,
and you take a picture next to her.
You can spoon her,
and then if you pay $75, you get a picture of Tammy spooning, and she's wearing she's got one of those silk covers where you can see her cleavage, and I don't know what's going downstairs because you can't see the picture, but she looks
because it's classy.
Oh, because it's classy.
Her words.
I thought this was a joke when I heard that this happened, until I posted some pictures on my Facebook wall of a couple of, for lack of a better term, losers that actually ponied up all this money to take these pictures and then had the gall to actually put them on the internet.
The nerve of these guys.
Is that the lowest you can go as a ex-wrestler trying to make income through the business?
I'm sure she could go a little bit lower.
That's $100, sir.
Oh my God.
But
it just freaked me out watching that. I was like, wow.
In all honesty, yeah, she could go lower. I mean, look at China. She's actually...
that's why the lowest you can go.
Yeah, sure, it's not with fans and you're not prostituting yourself. It's with, an actual company. And
that's why I would disagree with you on saying China is the lowest that she can go, because that's technically a business. that's already been established, that's already making their money, and she just went from one establishment where you can make money in pro wrestling to another establishment where you can make money in porn.
That's true.
She's doing this pro bono solo on her own, 100%
With any Joe
to me,
Schlub.
with anyone.
Yeah.
Like no signing on the dotted line, no nothing. She's like, you give me this money, I give you this, whatever you want.
Right.
So I don't think China's the lowest you can go.
That's a good point.
Now if China was on Craigslist saying, hey, $500 you can slide it in, that's the lowest you can go.
Well,
but
hell,
the way China's going,
the way Sonny's going,
it might end up there.
See what $50 and some Xanax does for.
And a ham sandwich.
Right, yeah.
Oh my god.
But the fact that, she brings like a whole set with her to the convention. Like she brings like a bed and a backdrop and nights,
and she's dressed in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, this is 30 years ago. Maybe
30.
Yeah, 20.
15?
20. 15, 20.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say 34.
And she was clean.
Yeah.
I think she has an STD.
Does she?
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Oof.
Speaking of STDs, let's talk about TNA.
This guy over here.
Awesome transition. Now I am even hungrier.
Where the heck is this freaking pizza?
Mm.
The Texans win, and then Papa John's just gets slammed, and then you'll never get the pizza that you paid half off for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Until Thursday.
Yeah.
Just in time for the Thursday night football game, whatever that game that would be.
Yeah. All right.
Speaking of Thursday, that's when Matt comes on. Hey.
Oh, yes.
Hey,
Yeah. That was a better transition than my transition.
You're welcome.
All right. Aces and eights. They had got a little internal squabbling there with Anderson and Bully, and apparently Mr. Anderson is going to be fighting against Bully this Thursday night for the TNA World Title. And
yeah, when Nash turned on Hogan, I didn't see that coming. Oh, I mean, Anderson and Bully.
Turned on Bully?
Yeah,
You didn't
sorry.
see it
Little flashback here.
I see what you did
I
there.
didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Now you just ruined it for me.
Yeah. You know what? I don't mind this happening if this is not a face turn for Anderson. There was a lot of people on Twitter, at the time of and the day after talking about, Anderson's face turn, now he's a face, this and that. No.
He's not a face.
He definitely should not be, and I don't want them to turn this into a face thing.
Face or anti-hero?
Face. I don't want him to be face. He
Okay.
could be a little bit of an
He
anti-hero.
sucks as a face.
Okay.
He tried that as a face.
Yeah. He needs to still be a heel. If this breaks up the aces and eights to like Bully and Brooke and Tito, and then the aces and eights where Anderson is in charge, then I'm fine with that. As long as Anderson stays a heel, is still a jerk, still an asshole, and, can do all the jerky assholey things that he's been doing that gets him over, that he does well. I don't want him to be like a face again. Like that it doesn't need to, no.
So you guys got Bully Ray winning this?
Yes, I do. Because Bully Ray has to fight whoever wins the Bound for Glory series.
Yeah.
No?
I still have it in the back of my mind. Hogan still wants to wrestle. The old bastard still wants to wrestle. And the only sane way to have Hogan wrestle and not become TNA champion is for him to wrestle a non-champion Bully Ray.
But
So
Anderson as the champion at Bound for Glory? No.
That part doesn't matter to me because if TNA has any common sense, which when we get to the interview with Dixie Carter later will really make it sound harder than it really is. Magnus should win this tournament.
Okay.
And Magnus Kennedy or Magnus Anderson for the title, in my opinion, would be fine because the main event would be Hogan versus Bully Ray to tie up that Aces and Eights storyline. That's just an out there option because because realistically, ever since the whole AJ thing, it's set up for AJ to be in the main event, and AJ Bully. I mean, you guys, because we're approaching. We're in September now, so we're approaching the build up this episode will start the official
Well, this
build-up.
episode this week is no surrender, right?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that'll start the official build-up for the Bound for Glory pay-per-view. We'll start getting matches,
Right.
or we'll start getting ideas of where they're going with this.
I really don't see Anderson being the guy with the title going
don't
into
either.
Bound for Glory, the biggest pay-per-view of the year for TNA. As much as all that you just said, would kind of make sense. At the same time, no. No. It wouldn't make sense for the guy that you've been building for the last year and a half, Bully, to not be the champ at the biggest pay-per-view of the year.
Yeah.
And to just have Anderson thrown in there. Nothing against Anderson. I like the guy just as much as anybody else. I'm a fan of Anderson, but he has not been the focal point of the last year and a half worth of storyline. He's been kind of in the back burner.
How about if they made a way to have that a triple threat between Bully, Anderson, and AJ, and secretly Anderson is still in the Aces and Eight fold, and then it turns out being a 2-on-1 match as the match happens.
Maybe if this wasn't Bound for Glory, if this was another TNA pay-per-view, because that just makes it too convoluted. They're trying really hard to make Bound for Glory be their WrestleMania. And I know it's still a far cry from it being WrestleMania, but at the same time, you can't have a three-way with hidden agendas be your main event. Like, no, it's got to be straight up one-on-one. This is what we're leading up and building up to. This is be the make or break for Aces and Eights and Team TNA or whatever. So have it be AJ. Of course, AJ is the man that they're going to use, and then AJ versus Bully.
That sucks.
Yeah, it does a little bit, but at the same time, I mean, come on, what else are you going to do? I mean, you could try to do that three-way type thing, but it's too gimmicky.
It doesn't even matter if it's the three-way. Honestly, that's how far I've checked out on AJ. Like, I would rather at least see Magnus get a decent shot, because they've been building this guy up.
Yeah.
He's been on top of the leaderboard for so long. He's been getting so much attention. Him being added into the Aces and Eights. I mean, Aces and Eights. Him being added into the main event Mafia, and him getting a higher build. Even if it's Magnus against Bully Ray with the support of Hogan or with support of TNA, like, we've seen the AJ show. It's failed.
Yeah.
So why are we going to have another rerun? Why not try something different? Why not throw Magnus in there?
Well, do you think it's going to be AJ, or do you think it's going to be the main event Mafia that's finally going to dethrone the Aces and Eights?
And that's the other problem. Like, what would you rather do? If we've had all this build-up with the main event Mafia and Aces and Eights, would you rather have the loner AJ, who has no affiliation with anyone, or would you rather have Magnus and the Aces and main event against Bully and Aces and Eights?
I'd rather it be AJ, and here's why. I don't think that the main event Mafia needs to stick around after Aces and Eights go away. And if the main event Mafia were to be the ones to take out Aces and Eights, then, hey, the main event Mafia wins and they're still sticking around, still sticking together. If AJ does it for them, then they could kind of like, okay, well, thanks AJ, whatever, and then just kind of go their separate ways and split up again. Like, you can't have the big split up if they win. You know what I'm saying? So I think it would make more sense if AJ does it. That way we get rid of the Aces and Eights, we get rid of the Mafia. Because after this is done, there's no sense in the protagonist faction still being around after the antagonist faction's gone away.
So you've got AJ winning.
AJ winning, AJ beating Bully, AJ getting the title.
Oh, you're already predicting Bound for Glory?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not really predicting the whole thing, just where everything's headed. Like,
Yeah. I don't
Is
know.
that-
What do you
is
think,
that-
Travis? Let's have you talk for a little bit.
yeah, you've been pacing around, making sure that we get fed around here, and it's been taking a toll on the.
I'm kind of tired. I don't want to talk.
Okay.
What for this match coming up for
Yeah.
Bully and Anderson?
Okay, yeah, let's circle around back
Start
to
from
that.
the
that-
beginning.
is that- okay.
Start from the beginning.
Okay,
He wasn't paying attention.
I
Fine.
never
He's
do.
hungry too.
I never
It's-
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a small stomach, you know. So, no, I'm gonna say, Bully is gonna retain
Okay.
on this one. For Bound for Glory, I see it going AJ.
Okay.
Is it that obvious?
To me, it is.
Yeah.
Then again, I didn't see them just flipping a freaking switch back to phenomenal AJ style. So
That's true. TNA is known for their swerves, so sometimes if something is too obvious, maybe they'll just like, I don't know, let Bobby Roode win it.
So who are the four guys? We've got AJ, We've got
Rude.
Bobby Roode. We've got Magnus. And we have Aries.
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 Oh, God, that'd be so good. That would be unpredictable. That would be great, and I would be behind
Aries
it.
Bully again.
The IWC would be behind it, which I think that's the only people that actually watch TNA.
How about Rude versus Bully? What kind of matchup would that be?
That wouldn't work, man. With the both heels, and I know TNA likes to do the heel and heel stuff every now and again, but Rude is not over enough to do it. No.
Okay, so what about Magnus against Bully Ray?
I don't think Magnus is over enough either. You know, he's the face version of Rude to me right now.
As much as TNA loves Magnus, to me, I just can't get behind him as much as
Not yet, anyway. They haven't put enough care into him. I know that they like him, but they haven't, you know, really...
They haven't made the commitment yet.
Yeah. It's like TNA has a crush on Magnus, but they haven't asked Magnus out yet.
They haven't gotten over AJ yet.
Yeah, you know, and they haven't even gotten to first base with Magnus yet, you know.
Because AJ keeps circling around, keeps coming back.
Yeah. That was a great analogy there. All right. Next thing I want to touch on for TNA talk, Sabin. Chris Sabin.
Who?
Chris Sabin. You know, the guy who was the champion like last month.
Oh, yeah, for those 3 weeks.
Yeah. No, that guy.
And then he was off TV for another
2 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Travis, I like what you wrote down here. You wrote down Chris Sabin. Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
That's all I was thinking after I was watching that terrible backstage segment with him and Velvet Sky.
Yeah.
Worse than the match?
Yes. I'd say
It was pretty
so.
bad.
It drug on for too long. He was just repeating himself over and over. Vel wasn't really helping or hurting the situation.
It wasn't helping that she was wearing her heels and she looked taller than him.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. You know, I don't know. It just, it not only did it do nothing for me, it did negative for me, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like you mentioned, I think, you know, the AJ show earlier. Now, this is like the Sabin project. It's failed.
yeah.
I don't know.
It failed, and this highlighted it failing even more, and it made him seem really whiny without really having a heel turn.
Well, it's going to be heel turn.
I mean, I hope
they
so.
They can't not have a freaking heel turn now. Because he's whining about losing, and the whole way he won the match for his title match with using the hammer.
Yeah. I mean, this needs to be a heel turn for this to work, because nobody's going to cheer for a whiny face.
Right, yeah.
So,
that's how heels are born.
You know, but even with that logic there...
Yes! Yes!
Was that the knock on the door that we've been waiting on?
Yes!
There you go. Hey, guess what? We have pizza. Just in time for us to stop talking about Sabin.
Saved by the bell. I'm done with Sabin.
Oh, man. That was some good food. We had to take a little break there to finally get that pizza that the Texans won for us. Yes, thank you there, Chris. All right. So, Sabin, you want him gone. Okay. I don't necessarily want him gone, but, you know, I don't want him to be floundering around the way he is right now. So, I don't know. Trav, do you have anything to say about Sabin?
Turn him heel.
Turn him heel.
Turn him interesting.
I think we need to wear name tags in front of Abel.
Mm-hmm.
He just gets us both confused.
Yeah. Both look so much alike. Okay.
We get that a lot.
Yeah.
It's the glasses.
I know.
Yeah.
And if only we could find a set of twins.
Okay.
I got my picture with some twins. I don't know about you.
That's true.
I'm getting there.
No comeback.
I know I don't have to come back.
Yeah, he had nothing. Okay. Last thing from TNA Talk before we, get out of TNA
There's
Talk.
more TNA talk? Ugh.
Yeah. Well, this is something you brought up.
Ugh.
So you only have yourself to blame.
Okay.
So let's turn it over to Chris here.
Yeah, Chris.
All right, so I'm going to read an excerpt from an interview that was done with Dixie Carter, and you guys tell me what you think. This is Dixie Carter trying to defend her signing, quote-unquote signing, Tito Ortiz and Rampage Jackson to Impact. So, and I quote,
Oh, God.
I've gotten criticism for bringing these guys in, but when you're looking for talent and there's only two teams, where do you go to get your star players from? You're going to mostly look to each other, and then every once in a while, you've got to build your own talent, which takes a lot of time.
Ooh.
So here are two guys that are major superstars. Both come from wrestling backgrounds, and both are training their butts off right now to be in the ring. I think it's a great way of trying to find some superstar talent and not having to take so many years to try and grow somebody's stardom. Both of these guys are so well known, and they love professional wrestling. They're committed and they're training, and I'm excited for people to see their potential. I think it's a great way of looking for new talent and talent that has never been seen before in our world. End quote.
So, Chris, translate.
I ain't got the patience for these guys, so I'm going to bring in other guys.
Exactly. Wow, that just hit the, the nail with the hammer there.
Yeah.
Yeah, she says, basically, we don't got no guys here, so we gotta go look somewhere else. And we can't get anybody from WWE, so let's go to MMA.
Yeah, pretty much. And, that sucks there when she says that there's only 2 teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Last time I checked, there was more than 2 teams. There's Ring of Honor, PWG,
Hell, there's, we have, 4 or 5 feds in Houston. There's more in San Antonio.
Uh-huh.
And that's just in Texas, in these little areas. They've got other little
areas. What happened to Mexico and Japan?
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't there once upon a time when TNA did the World Cup and they had all these cool dudes from Japan and Mexico and Canada all come from all over? What, you telling me that you burned those bridges so badly that you can't pick talent from any of those other international feds?
Or maybe they just assumed that TNA was a little local indie fed and they're not around anymore.
Maybe, I don't know, but either way, that's kind of a sad state of affairs because you're trying to pawn off Tito Ortiz and Rampage Jackson as wrestlers, and they're not wrestlers.
Right, exactly.
And you're basically saying that they're established names, they're established wrestlers. That's great. It's a quick fix. But the truth is, even in her own interview, it's not a quick fix because they're training to be wrestlers. They're not wrestlers. They're MMA fighters. You gotta train somebody to do MMA.
She said they're training to get in the ring. She didn't say what type of ring.
That's
True.
what I was about to get to. They're not even training to wrestle. They're training for something else.
Right.
Yeah.
They're training for their fight. A real legit fight.
Yeah, so you rather have star power for somebody that can't even wrestle than to build somebody that can wrestle? That's ridiculous. Either way, you're still having to take time to build. Either way. So why not do the thing that you do? Your business, your livelihood is in professional wrestling. Why not do something the professional wrestling way?
Yeah, I agree.
It didn't surprise me at first because that's been TNA's MO from the very beginning. Kurt Angle, Booker T, Christian.
Tomko to a lesser extent.
The names go on and on. In TNA standards, the names go on and on.
Oh my god, that's Luke Gallows!
I know that guy!
You mean to tell me you'd rather have somebody that's not going to be able to wrestle for you instead of getting, say, Vlad Kozlov?
Oh,
instead of getting, say, Chris Masters?
Or Alex Kozlov.
Instead of getting John Morrison?
Charlie Haas.
Charlie Haas. The American Wolves went to the WWE's open tryout camp. It wasn't anything official. We could have gone if we wanted to.
Yeah.
What's to say TNA couldn't have just gotten the American Wolves and signed them to a deal? Last time we all checked, there was a time in TNA's roster history where half of the roster was full of ROH guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
that right there, that opening...
she shot herself in the foot before even loading the gun.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. I don't understand how this is helping the morale of any of the wrestlers in that roster right now.
Exactly. The morale of some of your wrestlers in there. I mean, you have such great
Not
talent.
to mention, I'm not getting paid.
True. What I was going to say, you have such great talent that you're misusing, not building. It goes back to my point of saying, well, you got to train, these other guys to wrestle. Well, why not do something with the guys that you already have who are already trained, who have been stars at some point that you just kind of fumbled? For
All
example,
right. Well, let me go ahead and continue them since you went on, since we're continuing on that tangent.
Okay, go ahead.
As far as releases from the company, and I quote, "Well, I think the fact that you let talent go is not any indication whatsoever of any problems. I think part of our problem is that we didn't turn the roster often enough. We only have one show, so if we don't have people on the show all the time, we are not in the position to have them sitting at home and being paid and not working. I think we have to get some more programming. We have to be able to do that to where we can shift and make talent appear fresh, but going to another show versus sitting people at home. I think it's been a long time coming. I know that our competitor lets people go consistently. We have not done it in a long time, and I think because we had not done it in a long time, then it raised some eyebrows. It's time for us to bring in some new faces, and we've got some exciting faces that will be appearing in the next several months. It'll freshen things up somewhat. It'll freshen up the people who are still on the roster, and it'll give the fans new and unique matches that they've never seen before. Like always, I'm sure some of the people that are no longer with us will return at some point. I'm hopeful for that. I think it's a good and healthy state of where we're going and how we need to grow. End quote.
Translation?
She went all over the place on that one.
Well, let me take a stab at
Why
it.
don't you give it a shot?
WWE releases people all the time, so we can release people too. It keeps things fresh because you don't want to see, the same faces over and over. That's pretty much what she's saying. I mean, that's what I.
She just said that WWE releases people all the time, yet she says earlier in the interview, when you're looking for talent and there's only 2 teams, where do you go get your star players from?
Right. I don't know, man. I mean, something seems a little out of whack with, some of the things that Dixie's saying there. And you know what? We're not in the business. So, I mean, maybe somebody that is in the business can straighten us out and give us more insight. But to be honest, like, I've been watching wrestling for a long time. I've been following backstage stuff for a long time, reading interviews, dirt sheets, and what have you. And we were doing this for a while. So I think, I might know a little thing or two here. And to be honest, everything that Dixie's saying raises red flags.
Mm-hmm. It's like she's trying to do damage control. And she's failing miserably. She's like making it worse.
Yeah. I mean, she's like, oh, well, we gotta freshen up some of the faces. And no, you don't. You just got done saying that you don't have the time, energy, or willpower to make new stars. You have plenty of people, talented people on your roster that you can make. You can make some of the people that are on there. I don't know, not bobbling the ball with Suicide and TJ and making him manic, basically Suicide again. You could have unmasked him. You could have had him as TJ. You could have had a new character without having to fire somebody or hire a new contract. He was one guy that you could have just done a complete character change on and done something with him to put him at the next level, at the level of Aries and, Daniels and AJ and all that. I mean, he could go in the ring with those guys. I mean, he's a great freaking talent. So you're telling me that Daniels, who has that style, Kazarian, who has that style, they could be featured prominently, but TJ can't? You gotta put this, you have to remask him, take his mask off and put it on again and not change his character, and just change his name? Come on now.
Good point on that one. Another point I was going to say about that is, forget this mess with Joseph Park. We all know who Abyss is. That's who we see.
And what happened to Abyss?
He came back, won the television title, and he disappeared.
Yeah. You want to freshen something up? There's another thing that you could freshen up, and that doesn't take a...
Because they're like dragging that out way too long for this Joseph Park.
Nobody cares about Joseph Park.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a little negative here.
Uh-oh.
When she says that that they need to start turning more talent over, Samoa Joe and AJ Styles are the first 2 that have to go. I love Samoa Joe. I love Sofa Joe. I love Penis Joe. I love Gangster Joe. I love Main Event Mafia Joe. But
Machete Joe.
Machete Joe. The same thing with AJ Styles. The same problem that has happened with AJ Styles. Too many gimmicks. Not enough confidence to run with the gimmick to see where it goes. To the point where you've already ruined the character to the point that there's no interest left. You want to really put your money where your mouth is and turn roster over? There's your 2 to begin with.
They're aside from Daniels Kazarian, I mean, them 2 are the ones that...
Daniels and Kazarian luckily have repackaged themselves, or TNA repackaged them if they deserve any credit for that.
Yeah.
To where they're freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And they have at least another 2 years, assuming TNA has another 2 years. They have at least 2 more years with what they're doing right now. But with their top guys, from the top down, AJ, what's he got left? assuming that he's going to get another chance, another run at Bound for Glory with this whole storyline. What does Joe have left? Angle just got out of rehab. What's he got left? My whole push of Magnus about trying to push new faces, but you're not ready to pull the trigger right now. What are you going to do with Magnus?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and the aces and eights. Bully Ray, like what do you got planned for Bully Ray? What do you have a plan for Bully Ray to make him relevant for the next 3 years if TNA has 3 years in the company? Mm-hmm. What's next? Like from the top down, like
Chavo and Hernandez, they've done nothing recently, you know.
Yeah.
And
I forgot about Chavo.
Yeah,
I forgot about Chavo. Hernandez was like bottom feeding in the tournament in the Bound for Glory series, but he still had some kind of feature there.
Yeah,
but Chavo, I forgot
nothing.
Chavo was there until he just turned his name.
On another note of that, I keep forgetting who the tag team champs are. There you go. It's Storm and Gunner.
Yeah,
but fuck you. I mean, you wouldn't know. I mean,
that wasn't a bit. That was legit.
Exhibit 432 of them dropping the ball. Storm could have had a hell of a run.
Yeah,
in the main event scene. What the hell happened?
Yeah, and I remember when this team first formed, and I was like, okay, I'm all for this. This could actually put Gunner in a prominent position. But they put the tag titles on him, and then they haven't been on TV for forever.
They show up like every other week or so. It's ridiculous.
I mean, I guess that kind of confirms something that Dixie said, that she doesn't want to have people, you know, on sitting at home, even though they're on the payroll, because they don't have enough programming. Well, okay, yeah, I agree with you there, Dixie. You're right. You don't have enough programming. Maybe you should consider another show. But then again, how much is that going to cost? I mean, are you guys in a position to put together another show? You know, that's an interesting question. I'm not an accountant. I don't know what their books look like, but maybe it'd be advantageous for them to do another show eventually. Probably not right now. I think it might break them if they do it now.
It'd be easier to just take a show that they already do, like Explosion, and just put it on a 30 minutes or an hour somewhere on Spike or somewhere else to where they can.
Or not just only in the UK. I mean, we don't watch Explosion because, you know, it's a UK thing. Yeah. You know, I don't understand why they can't have that for both the UK and for us, you know?
Yeah.
I remember Ric Flair in one of the documentary for the death of WCW, that if Dave would have stayed from Carolina to Georgia or something, he set a boundary. If they would have stayed between there and there, they'd still be in business. Yeah. If TNA would have just stayed in Florida, or hell, if they would have just take a couple of months and take advantage of the UK crowd and just tour UK over there to try to recoup some of that money back, to try to stay in business, they need to have a plan B, C, D ready.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what I think? I think that I think Dixie and TNA didn't want to leave the Impact Zone. And because they like to be in with the crowd, you know, they like to get that feedback, whatever, they like to please the fans. You know, IWC kept saying, "Oh, we need to get out of the Impact Zone. Y'all need to go on the road. Y'all need to do this and that." And like, okay, well, let's go on the road. And then they in their contract.
So you didn't think that was a good idea to hit the road?
I wanted them to get out of the Impact Zone. I was tired of seeing the Impact Zone. But I'm like he said, I'm not their accountant. Who am I? I'm just a fan.
It's not about the accountant. It's whoever's guy's decision to go to fucking Wichita Falls instead of Dallas or Houston or San Antonio. It's their decision to go to bumfuck Iowa instead of Cleveland or New York City or Boston. You know, all these podunk places. It's somebody's decision to go back to California after the last Bound for Glory that went to California. They only sold like 2,000 or 1,500 tickets, and they had to give away the rest of the tickets just so they could make the place look like they had people in it.
Yeah.
You know, at some point, if this isn't working, stick to what's working.
Yeah.
You know?
No, like I was saying, I'm glad they did get out of the Impact Zone.
Yeah.
But again, I don't work for them. I'm not in my control of anything. I'm just saying, maybe they shouldn't have listened to the fans on this one and said, okay, well, we're staying in the Impact Zone because we can't afford to travel.
Yeah.
You know? And I have heard Ric Flair say that too, about if Crockett just stayed at that little zone that he said.
Away from New York City and away from the West.
Exactly. Yeah, then they would still be in business, possibly. But same thing with TNA. They shouldn't try to go everywhere. Clearly, they can't sell the tickets or fill the arenas.
Depending on where. I mean, one of the best TNA shows I'd seen in the last 5 years was the Slammiversary 10 that was in Dallas. That was 100% sold out. That I think they only gave away maybe 100 or 200 tickets, and that was through radio promotion because that's Panda Energy's backyard in Dallas. So
Okay.
it was awesome. You know, they've been to New York City area, and they've sold out. They've sold 5,000, 6,000 tickets to that place. You know, they go back to Boston because in the times they go to Boston, they sell 4,000, 5,000.
Well, look at
tickets.
these markets you're saying.
The
Boston,
places,
New York,
the places that
Dallas.
the places that work, go back to them.
Yeah.
Don't try California where you can barely draw crickets, or don't go to places in the middle of nowhere when you know that you have a better audience if you go here.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, like if they would have came to here or to, San Antonio, well, maybe not so much San Antonio. Well, I would consider it.
Lockdown in San Antonio was a good show. It would have worked a lot better if they would have picked a different arena as opposed to doing 15% of the Alamo Dome.
Yeah. Well, my point was, I mean, I didn't even consider going to Wichita Falls or to Corpus Christi, but if they would have came here, yeah, I would have gone. If they would have gone to San Antonio or Dallas, I would have considered it. But Wichita Falls, I mean, come on now, I mean, I'm not trying to hate on Wichita Falls. If you're listening, you're from Wichita Falls. I'm sorry, but I don't know, man. It's just
the only credit that I can give them is that for the past 3 or 4 years, a lot of people are saying this is the year that TNA is going to go out of business, and they're just the turd that refuses to get flushed. They're still here.
Good analogy.
Who knows? Maybe a year from now, after all this talk that this is the last year, next year they'll still be around.
yeah.
But it's
I
they're fighting an uphill battle instead of getting to the top and defending the top.
yeah.
And it's been like that for a long time.
What they need to do is get off the WWE's nuts. They need to ignore that they exist and do their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Did you catch on Impact? They came after commercial break, and there was an Impact Instafact.
Oh, I did see that.
I was like, really?
Yeah.
You're really going to copy that too?
Yep. they
Stop
did.
it. Just stop it now. It's getting sad. It's getting pathetic.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we got 5,000 people in New Zealand watching. We're the highest rated show in New Zealand. Thank you, New Zealand. Like, okay, New Zealand. Why do I care about New Zealand?
Yeah,
it didn't
exactly.
happen here.
Yeah.
It's not ours. I saw that. I laughed. I
groaned.
laughed.
I laughed because it's so pathetic.
Mm-hmm.
When
TNA was at its best is when they were trying to distinguish themselves from WWE, when they were trying to be different, when they were trying to be wrestling's real alternative and, cross the line.
You know what
and
they
all that.
did? They crossed the line
Yeah.
to WWE Light.
Yeah. And it's not working. And that's sad because, man, I love TNA so much,
And as wrestling fans, we want to see them succeed, but
Because competition's great.
yeah, but this isn't competition.
Right.
This is a glorified indie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that enough TNA bashing for one night?
Why not? Yeah.
Okay.
We'll wait till next week
Yeah.
when we cover the No Surrender.
Yes, No Surrender. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, the free pay-per-view.
Yeah, no, don't get me started again on these free pay-per-views. I mean, we already been through that when we talked about Destination X. Let's not let sleeping dogs lie. All right. So we done with wrestling talk for this week?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to a little bit of stuff going on this weekend.
Okay.
We got Booker T's ROW on Saturday.
Hey, you got it right.
Yeah, I did get it right. Yay, Saturday. So yeah. Hey, guess what? We have an interview.
We do.
Yeah, with
After all this talk, we still have an interview too?
Yeah. After one of their guys, Ruthless Ryan Davidson. That should be good, huh?
Oh yeah, it should be Ruthless.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Let's go ahead and cut to that.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. All right, everybody, here we are with another very special guest interview for this week. He is quite the hated man here at ROW and the indie scene here in the Houston area. He's a pretty good wrestler, though. I gotta admit, you gotta give the devil his due. He is none other than Ruthless Ryan Davidson. Welcome to the show, man.
I really appreciate that that introduction. I can tell by the way that you were stumbling, and you didn't exaggerate on the very, very, very special part. And let me go ahead and correct you on the fact that I'm not one of, I am the most hated man in ROW. And quite frankly, you're welcome that I'm on your show.
This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. I can already tell. All right, let's see if we could try to get through this without us getting beat up too much. But let's start off by getting to know you a little bit, man. How did you first get into wrestling?
Well, I always grew up variously involved in a lot of sports. I mean, it was anywhere between football, amateur wrestling, swimming. I was quite the avid swimmer. A bunch of other different sports, but I was always and forever will be a fan of professional wrestling. And pretty much didn't really take these sports seriously until right after I got through with playing college football for West Texas A&M University. And after my college football career was pretty much winding down, I was trying to figure out what exactly I wanted to do, and wrestling was always in the back of my mind. So I thought, what the hell, why not? Hooked up with some former student that I pretty much went to school with, what have you, who actually knew somebody that ran the wrestling school in Amarillo, Texas. And, the one thing in the wrestling business, it's such a wacky business. You can break into the weirdest places. And to say that I started from the bottom and pretty much worked my way from the top, I broke into the wrestling business in a wrestling ring at an outdoor go-kart track off the side of the freeway in Amarillo, Texas.
Nice.
So, yeah. Went from there to pretty much working with the flagship of Texas wrestling. So I'd say I've paid a lot of dues in wrestling, and that's one thing about wrestling. You always and forever pay your dues.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, even people that make it to the WWE, while they're there, they're still paying dues. So that's a lot of what wrestling is about. And I totally understand that, man. Okay, so you started out there in Amarillo, but now you're here and you're wrestling for Booker T's ROW. How'd you hook up with Booker?
Well, like attracts like, which means talent has an eye for talent. Booker T has known about me long before I even stepped foot into what was known as PWA back then. Pretty much recruited me right off the bat. Rightfully so. Why wouldn't he, for God's sake? But went ahead and started wrestling with Booker T and what have you. And I'll be honest with you, this would be about my 9th year being in professional wrestling. And at the time that I went ahead and entered and got under the, under the wing and guidance of Booker T, I've learned more in 6 months by his guidance and knowledge than I did in about 4.5 years of running the roads, traveling across the country for doing a bunch of indie shows through numerous different states. So, that's just the type of privilege that we have actually working with Book and everything and what have you at ROW, man. It's just, the guy is just a awesome, just mind full of knowledge. It's just incredible.
Cool. Yeah, Book's a great dude, and he's really brought in a pretty cool indie fed down here in our area, and I just can't wait for it to just keep even getting bigger and bigger and bigger than what it is now. And it's just been a great ride. I've been there since day one, back like you mentioned, PWA days, and it's just been awesome and fun. It's a great show.
Days. Yeah, I remember those days. You're probably one of those guys that kept calling me a jobber each time I got in the ring. Is that correct? You're probably one of those guys?
Yeah, those old days.
I didn't know they had comedians out in the crowd whenever PWA was around. Amazing.
Yeah, comedians, assholes, whatever you want to call us, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I'll remember that, don't worry. If I see you at the show on Saturday, I'll remember it.
Okay.
We won't forget.
We'll be wearing Houston Wrestling Radio t-shirts.
Right.
Right on. That's cute.
Hey, is there any advice? What's the best advice that you've gotten since you've gotten into the business of pro wrestling?
Man, I'll be honest with you, and this is a very straight, serious answer. I've been given a pretty much an encyclopedia's worth of advice in the wrestling business as far as how not to step on toes and be a good person in and out of the ring, what have you, this and that. But the best advice that I could always stand out and always remember day in and day out being in this business is never take anything for granted. Never.
Mm-hmm.
Never take anything for granted because you never know. It'll be gone tomorrow if you're not careful. So that's just one thing about wrestling that I appreciate the most is that regardless of how many, window-licking, illiterate morons want to go ahead and call me, a jobber or boo me or say I suck or anything like that, what have you. I'm extremely grateful to put on a pair of boots, and that's my thing to give anybody.
There you go. That's some good advice. Hopefully there's some aspiring wrestlers out there listening to this right now.
Of course it's good advice. It came from me. What else would you expect?
Abel.
So you're not telling us that.
It's bad enough that you're nervous and you're stuttering left and right. It's okay. I have that effect on people. It's not that big of a deal.
Man.
Come on, man. Let's not be professional about this. We'll be okay.
He's so ruthless.
I know.
Yeah, well, it's just not a name to put on a T-shirt. It just happens to be what it is. I've mastered the art of douchebaggery over many, many years.
So that's what that smell is.
Ah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, pretty much. That's not your upper lip, I promise.
There was one time that you were wrestling, and I remember this, that there was an old lady that was up at the front row, and she was booing you. And you turn to her and you say, "Shut up, Skeletor." Like, I remember that vividly, and we laughed so hard when you did that, man. You're really, really good at talking trash and just, like you said, mastered the art of douchebaggery. Did that come with practice? Is that natural?
I'll be dead honest with you, man. This is also another serious, straight question. I have no idea. There's two things that have happened all my life that I just do not see in any way, shape, or form. One is that I've always had people tell me, that I look like the Big Show. I do not see it at all. And number two is that whenever anybody meets me, I'm talking in the business, out of the business, what have you, everybody automatically thinks that I'm a jerk. Just right off the bat, before I even say anything to them. Hey, how you doing? My name is Ryan. I'm a jerk. And it's always been a very funny thing to me, just because people find out who I really am, and their whole decision of me changes. And then again, really, with people that don't matter and kind of a waste of time, yeah, I am a jerk to them. So I guess it's kind of bounces itself out.
Nice.
Awesome. That's great. Okay, man. So you're wrestling here in this local area, and you're wrestling for ROW, but we've also seen you around town at other shows, like TSAW. We also seen you at, I think,
NWA Houston.
Yeah, NWA Houston a couple times. Where all else do you normally wrestle at? Where can people go see you?
Well, currently I do a lot of local shows. It's pretty much the farthest out that I go currently right now at the moment is Beaumont for Hurricane Pro Wrestling, formerly known as Gulf Coast Tower Pro Wrestling, which is the most ridiculous, longest name for a wrestling organization that's ever been a part of in my life. It's like if you had four more letters, you pretty much just say the whole alphabet by talking about their fit. But other than that, basically like just how you said, Texas All-Star Wrestling, Hurricane Pro Wrestling. I also wrestled for Jared Steele's PWA, even though we don't see eye to eye on things. He has a very family-oriented fed down there in Pearland, Texas. And, since it is family-oriented and there's a bunch of kids, I can't tell you how much joy it brings me to see little kids cry. And it's just something that I get just as excited about wrestling for Jared Steele's promotion that I've been when I wrestle for ROW, just for the sole fact of I very much cherish a child's tears. It makes me just so happy that I can make them so upset that when I win and whenever they cry, and just remind their parents on how bad of a parenting they do. So it's great. It's wonderful. It's a good time.
Spoken like a true natural heel. This guy.
I'm just saying. And also, if you just happen to be a borderline alcoholic, there is cheap beer there. So there you go.
Yes. Now you got my attention.
Yeah, but I mean, more importantly, as far as, all the different organizations, I've wrestled for NWA Houston in the past. I was actually their heavyweight champion for a little over a year back in, what was it, 2008, 2009, and what have you. It's been a few years since I've wrestled for NWA Houston and what have you, but it's a good promotion out there and whatnot. They got a bunch of good guys in the locker room, but, the area is pretty solid with a bunch of talent and what have you, but not to try and step on any. Well, actually, I take that back. I really don't give a crap about stepping on anybody's toes. ROW is the best wrestling organization in Texas, bar none, and we've been that way for a long time.
Awesome. Well, speaking of the best in the organization, they are having a show this weekend, and you are going to be participating. You have a match with The Pride, and it's a no DQ match, right?
Yeah, see, last month, according to, our weekly episodes that we do for the reality of wrestling, went ahead and wrestled Pride, and, he went ahead and tried to get all cute, do his little things and what have you, and, appreciate the fans, what have you, and, I just do what I normally do and just, grab the attention of, everybody in the arena, and I just decided to take a steel chair and just smash him in the mouth. So, it is what it is, and, it looked like he needed some dental work done anyway, so I thought I was just helping the guy out. But, apparently, according to the higher-ups of ROW, I will be wrestling Pride this Saturday in a non-disqualification match, and, it should be a good time. Well, for me at least, because I know I'll win, so that's usually how it goes.
Right. It won't be a good time for Pride, right?
Pretty much, but my main focus is definitely on the mysterious Q. Him and I have been butting heads, since 2008 in different organizations, and of course he's staying over here to ROW, and I'll give him all the credit in the world, man. He is one of the most best athletes that we've ever seen inside ROW, and it's definitely cool to actually work with him, but rather it's cool to work with a guy and, have good matches with him. He just needs to know his place, and his place is definitely underneath me. So, and not in that type of way that you guys like to think about on a regular basis, but hopefully you get my drift.
Oh, darn. Okay. Well, I get your drift now.
Oh, okay.
You got his hopes up there for a
I'll take a
second.
picture with y'all with crayons and everything like that. I know how you guys think. It's okay.
All right, man. So, we are very excited to go out again to another ROW this weekend. It's always an awesome freaking show. Anybody listening right now, you need to drop everything, make plans, make sure that you head on out there. And, it's always fun. You get to see yourself on YouTube if you're, there in the crowd too. So it's a great show. All right. Last thing I kind of want to get to here. You've made it up. You've wrestled for like 8-9 years. What's the next step for you, man? How do you think your career is going to continue?
Well, there's one thing that Booker T says to a lot of us, pretty much whenever we're in the locker room, is that, we can be good buddies and everybody can sit there, and pretty much pat each other on the rear end and talk about how good each other are and what have you, and this and that. And at the end of the day, it's always a constant competition. And, even though I got a lot of friends in the wrestling business, definitely it's always, every single day, it's competition. And I always want to try and be the absolute best that I can possibly be. And I know I got a long way to go, but as far as where I see myself in the next few years, I see myself on the active roster for WWE, having some good real estate, and hopefully being married to a pregnant Cheetah Johnson. That's where I see myself.
Well, there you go, man. Hopefully you could achieve all those goals. We'll be here booing you in the meantime, but I'm sure that's,
Awesome. Now, hold on. Before you go ahead and let me go, I know you guys got a time crunch and what have you, but as, you guys might think I'm mean to you and this and that, what have you, and, you're probably right. But the thing is that I was actually listening to some past shows from Houston Wrestling Radio Show, and listened to the interview that you guys had with Jasper the Hammer Davis. Now, is Chris there?
Yeah. That's me. Yes, I am here.
Okay.
Tell me whatever you want to tell me.
Can you briefly tell me why Jasper kind of gives you a hard time?
I don't know.
You really don't know?
No, we sat here, apparently Jasper was here before either one of us got here to start setting up to record the show. And, I don't know what kind of running joke we had.
Okay, you know what? Stop right there. I really don't care. I totally see why you really just can't even have a coherent conversation. So, shut up, Chris.
I'm used to it.
Wanted to relay that message to you from one Jasper the Hammer Davis. So, it totally makes sense.
Well, I'll see both the Saturday. You can tell me in person.
Right on, I will. But, no, guys, I appreciate you guys having me on the show and all that other good stuff. And, once again, this Saturday, 16511 Diana Lane, down in Clear Lake, Texas, Clear Lake Sports Complex and what have you. You come more importantly see me, Ruthless Ryan Davidson, at the next ROW show. People talk about the Mayweather, Canelo fight and what have you. We all know Mayweather's going to win. That little Mexican midget doesn't really have a chance against Mayweather. Come on now. It is what it is. Just come on down to the rest of the show, have a good time, and make sure you tell everybody about it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. We look forward to seeing you out there this Saturday night, and it's going to be great. So Adios, my friend.
Adios, stay ruthless.
All right, there we go, guys. Ruthless Ryan Davidson.
That was awesome.
That was awesome. That was pretty fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
our first heel interview.
We need more heels.
It's true. Well, you're not enough?
I could use some back. Well, I was gonna say I could use some backup, but I think this running joke of it involving me, I'm not sure.
I can't wait till this weekend when they see you on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll see me.
Yeah.
I hope
We'll
to be
make sure
there.
we'll make sure you're front and center.
Good,
Yes.
good. I'll make sure that I stick around until they both come out, and then I'll take off.
Yeah. And then,
Yeah.
because we can't have them not telling you to shut up.
Yeah, it's now part of the show. Like the show won't go on until I'm there for them to make fun of.
Yeah.
So,
So it's interesting that you have, Ryan a heel and Jasper
A
face both
equally
telling-
stupid. They're both booing me for some reason. I don't know what the hell's in the water. There must be a specific slam that they've been taking at the school that's just got them.
Yeah.
Maybe they know you.
I don't think so.
Oh God. Okay. So that was fun. We can't wait to see him this weekend.
Yeah.
Another great ROW show in the works. Come on out, check it out, and check us out. We'll be there with our HWR shirts. Hey,
Which you can buy.
yes,
ProWrestlingTees.com/Houston Wrestling Radio.
indeed. Yes.
They make great fly swatters, dish rags,
Look, I don't care what you do with the damn shirt.
blankets,
Just buy it.
depending on the size. Yeah.
Toilet paper, kind of. A little bit.
Hoods.
Well, now you've crossed the line, buddy.
Oh, did I?
Yes.
Well, kind of like TNA, just crossing the line.
Don't stop it.
The little dance he did while he said
Yeah.
that was.
If only this is video.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that. What else we got going on this weekend besides ROW?
I believe we have another indie show on Sunday, don't we?
Yeah, I think TSAW is having a show. It's they're calling it Off the Hook with Eric Young. No, wait,
what?
no,
Wait,
that's not it.
what?
He was trying to be funny and he failed.
Because that's the name of Eric Young's fishing show,
Oh,
Off the Hook.
does it have more viewers than Impact?
Probably.
Maybe. I don't know.
That's a distinct possibility, sir.
Yeah. Anyway, so Texas All-Star Wrestling, they're having a show. Check it out at the Armadillo Events Center. And it's going to be at 4 o'clock on Sunday. And hey, admission's free.
Hey.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a triple threat for the title.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Who's triple threading in it?
All right, man. So the triple threat is gonna be Steve DeMarco versus Mysterious Q versus Ruthless Ryan Davidson.
No. So
Double your pleasure.
Mm.
Or displeasure.
sounds like Ryan will have a busy little weekend there.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
Also, Simone Beast is gonna be there too.
At TSAW?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, hopefully he'll have a match there at ROW too. That'd be pretty cool. I like that guy.
Hey, fun fact. San Antonio, there's a promotion called RCW.
Okay.
River City Wrestling.
Yes.
That's Hernandez's.
Yes.
Thing.
Yes.
Hernandez is the tag team champion with the Samoan Beast right now.
Really? With Samoan Beast?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Professor, doing your research over there and everything.
I tried.
Took him long enough.
Shut up.
Shut up, Chris. All right. So yeah, pretty awesome weekend ahead of us. So looking forward to it.
And then, of course, Sunday night, we have the Night of Champions pay-per-view.
Ah, yes, that is true.
Oh, yes.
So even more wrestling this weekend. It's gonna be jam packed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And there's another Texans game
true.
for anyone that doesn't want to get overdosed with wrestling.
Yes, they're playing the
And-
Titans.
Yes. Here.
Yes.
And
Texans versus Oilers.
yeah. And what Ryan alluded to earlier, if for some reason you can't make it out to ROW, for shame. But there's also Floyd Mayweather against Canelo Alvarez for a title. I don't know. There's so many divisions now. It's not even funny. And I think that's the only match that matters on the card. So
basically, if you're a sports fan, this is a good weekend for you.
yeah.
Yeah. Got boxing, wrestling, football, all kinds of stuff.
I think it's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. There might be a Dynamo game out there. Ask the guys from Stoppage Time. They
The worst transition ever.
Yeah, well.
Sorry, Scott.
Yeah.
That was more of a bad shout out than a.
That was a really bad
transition.
shout out. Yeah.
You be louder.
You want to try that? Do you want to try that again?
Yeah, let me try that again.
Okay, clear your throat.
If you enjoy football, go check out our friends at Stoppage Time. You can download them off of iTunes. It's a Stoppage Time with Hero and Hammer. You can also check them out on Twitter at H&H Stoppage Time. And hey, they're also on the Stitcher Radio app now, so do a search there for Stoppage Time on there.
Did you practice all that?
No, I didn't.
Wow.
Yeah, I just pulled that right out of my keister.
Ooh. That's what I'm smelling.
Yes, indeed. All right.
Sorry, Scott.
There's some good guys over there. Yeah. All right. Are we done? Is there anything else we need to do? Anything else we need to talk about?
Don't we know somebody that draws stuff?
Yeah, Aaron. Yeah, but he's a jerk, so forget Aaron.
Wow. Another half-ass shout-out from someone that has 2 asses worth.
Right. Well, so if I do a full ass, would that be half an ass? Cause
For you, probably. But let's try that again.
How about
for
you
Aaron.
quit talking about your ass, all right?
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
How about you try again for Aaron?
All right, Aaron. Check him out on Facebook. Awesome AG Designs. If you need any t-shirt work done, by the way, he did our t-shirts there. So
For sale right now.
For sale right now.
ProWrestlingTees.com/Houston Wrestling Radio.
Indeed. So if you have a t-shirt, banner, logo, whatever you need made up, check him out, and check out his Facebook page, Awesome AG Designs. Ta-da. I don't know what his Twitter is nowadays. He's changed it. I think it's Suicide Fox with 2 X's, but it could be like 1 X or 3 X's. I don't know. But,
Depends how much Mountain Dew he's had that day.
yeah, indeed. Okay, are we done now?
Sure. Why y'all looking at me? It's your show, man.
Yeah, but you're the white guy.
This is true.
You just look like you should be in charge.
All right, you go do the dishes. You
Okay.
lock this thing down.
All right. Adios, my friends. Thank you so much. Keep it classy.
Wow, this is awesome. Then I looked at the details and I was like, I can see why people are worried about this RoboCop movie.
It's gonna be disastrous.
Come on, you have to have some kind of optimism.
A car bomb? Really?
Well, they tried. They didn't
No.
want to do R, so for them to not do rated R,
Whose
they
fault is
had to
that?
do-
That's
I
not.
know.
No, that's.
I know.
Yeah. Don't even try to defend
You
me.
don't have any positives about the trailer at all. You don't like the gun coming out of the leg CGI.
No.
Samuel L. Jackson doing the satire commercials.
Samuel Jackson can do no wrong. However,
Michael Keaton dropping the black joke.
yeah, I was
The
actually
black joke is like, does the suit come in black like the Batman movie, not like a racist joke
right.
for
Yeah,
the 2 people that are black that listen to this show.
I did like the beginning when they did have like the retro old RoboCop costume, but then changing it to the.
I don't like the I never did like the black.
No, I didn't either. And the hand, showing the hand,
Keeping the hand, yeah.
and it looks like it's a guy in a suit. I mean, it is a guy in a suit, but
It kind of looks like Snake Eyes.
yeah. And he's got his family. They showed a little clip. He's in the RoboCop costume. His whole head's exposed, and he's hugging his daughter. Like there's like no tragedy whatsoever. Everything's
What
fine.
did you like about the trailer? Did you like anything about the trailer? The matching bike,
It wasn't too long.
Samuel L. Jackson,
Uh,
the Ed 209.
okay, Ed 209 looked pretty cool. Ed 209. Okay, you got to give it to Ed 209.
The only, as much as I have my gripes with it, the only rebuttal that I can ever come back to, whether I really like a reboot or whether I really hate a reboot, is that if you really like the original so much, just stick with the original. Just buy a copy of RoboCop
Yeah.
from '87, watch it until your penis falls off. You'll be fine. If you want something different, not necessarily you have to fall in love with it or you have to hate it, but if you want to see a different version, a different origin, a different whatever, give it a shot.
Well, look at the other dudes. Total Recall. That remake didn't do nothing. You know.
Yeah, I thought it was okay, but I didn't watch the original to compare.
You never seen the original?
No, never seen the original of Total Recall.
Okay, after the show,
Okay,
marathon mode.
I'll you know what? If you have it on DVD, I'll make a copy of it and I'll put it on my iPod.
Actually, I have no, I have it on Blu-ray.
Puto desgraciado gasto de esperma inútil. You know what I
I don't know what
did
you
like?
just said, but it sounded pretty funny.
I also saw the new Dredd movie
Yeah.
before I saw the original Judge Dredd.
Ooh.
But I did wind up buying the original Judge Dredd, and I thought it lived up to as a sequel or reboot. I thought Dredd did justice.
But the first one or the second one?
The second one
Yeah.
did justice to the first one. I like them.
Yeah.
I like them both equally for different reasons. But
The first one's just slow over the fucking top. It's just,
it's for its
Yeah.
time. Like it's
Yeah.
80s. It's corny. It's cheesy. Like in the 80s, they didn't have
90s.
serious 90s. They didn't have serious hardcore movies. Like
the thing that killed that one, it was rated R.
yeah,
For no fucking reason.
I didn't break the law. I am the law.
Yeah. It wasn't that violent. There was no language in it. Why was it fucking rated R?
Imagine if like the Dark Knight movie came out instead of the first Batman with Michael Keaton. Nobody would go watch it because it's too freaking depressing and serious for that time. Because at that time there wasn't movies like that. Like the R movies weren't like that.
Oh no,
The action movies.
No, Michael Keaton's Batman. Man, we're fuck this.
We'll talk wrestling next week. We'll have a post show. I don't know.
No, Tim Burton's Batman was great for its time.
For its time.
But
But
that-
it still lives up. Like I could watch it now and I still love
It still is up for what it is. But now in the age of Avengers and Iron Man and Dark Knight,
Too much
it's-
hype.
Yeah,
Too much standards are always raised with
Exactly.
everything that comes out to where you can't just accept anything for what it is.
Exactly. Yeah. Matter of fact, I just watched it this morning. There was Kevin Smith's podcast. He was doing He was doing his own commentary, and it's pretty funny. So check it out. It's
Nice.
the first part because there was like a two-parter thing. In the first part, I wasn't even watching the fucking movie because he was explaining the scenes, and I knew the scenes he was fucking talking about. That I didn't fucking watch it. And then the second part came out today, and I was like, yeah, fucking I'm off. I'll pop it in, yeah. And I was watching the movie along with the commentary. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff there.
Well, there you go. You can splice that in at the end.
You might be able to splice in our Houston Wrestling Radio show to this.
Oh, yeah.
Have like a spin-off podcast of just like YouTube.
You know what? Our blooper reel should consist of like 5 minutes of the three of us just talking about something random.
True.
Just like that.
Yeah. Although that
Getting
was
back to
YouTube
the
talk.
fucking the car bomb. He fucking dies with a fucking car bomb.
He didn't die.
The going back to the movies going for its time, there wasn't car bombs in the 80s. Like right now with
There wasn't?
it's not. I guess because there wasn't enough social media, it wasn't as prevalent as right now. You can see car bombs like every day on the news.
Right.
You know,
Which
so
again makes it not...
I like the fact that they showed the dude like all beat up and everything.
The death scene, or when he gets gunned down in the first movie, it still gives me fucking chills.
It does.
That scene, fucking when they blow his hand off and everything, blow his fucking head, yeah, it's ridiculous. And fucking a car bomb, really? How are you gonna compare the two? You can't. It's
Yeah. Different times, different
PG-13.
audiences. I'd love to. Even now, like I'll watch. I have that on my. I have it on my iTunes while I pop it in. Like even the second one too. Part 3, I don't acknowledge it exists.
I will say the
Dude, I remember
wait,
when
part
I was,
1 and part 2 exists. Part 3 doesn't exist.
Part 3 doesn't know.
Yeah, that doesn't exist.
I was so hyped for part 3 when I was a little kid. I was so ready for that movie. And then I thought it was good. Like I watched it because I was just a kid. I was marking out
that
as
was
a
more.
kid.
It was geared for kids.
Yeah,
it was
and-
PG-13. It wasn't rated R. The first 2 were rated R.
And like I was waiting for part 4 because there was rumors flying around about a part 4 being made, and like it never came, and I was so sad.
I mean, that was when they had the jetpack, and he shot the guy was smoking, and he like shut the fucking thing around. You know.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how shoddy the stunt scenes were, but like in part 3 where you can literally see the fakeness of RoboCop flying
Yeah.
above everybody.
Didn't you ever see the strings holding him up?
I'm the one old school thing I am about movies is I hate when they change actors up. Like if you're like Robert Downey Jr. could be Iron Man until his head falls off. I'll be fine.
Right.
But once they got a new guy for part 3, I was like, I don't know how this is gonna go. And then they got another guy to do like that little like TV show or like mini series that they had on HBO or whatever.
Prime Directives.
I think so. Prime
Yeah.
Directives. Like
It was on Netflix for a little while.
I missed it. I have Dark.
Dude,
I
me
have
and my
Dark
friend-
Justice. Like I have the little Dark Justice.
Me and my
movies
friend
that-
tried to watch the Prime Directives. We couldn't watch it. We couldn't get through them. They're so bad.
They're bad.
But you want to watch it because it's fucking RoboCop.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. You know.
The only reason I brought up the RoboCop thing was because they have like this 8-issue miniseries of how Frank Miller wanted the RoboCop series to end, and issue number 2 comes out tomorrow. And then when I saw the stack of comics on your desk, I was like, that's the first thing I need to get.
There was a RoboCop series from Frank Miller like 3 or 4 years ago, 5 years ago, from Avatar.
I think so.
No, there was. I haven't.
Was that the issue from Kaboom Comics?
Avatar?
No, I didn't. Here's my comic list for tomorrow.
What's Suicide Risk?
It's you know what? I haven't even read the.
Ring, ring. Don't you want to answer your phone?
Oh, there you go.
Somebody answer the phone for crying out loud.
Tim?
Yellow.
Hello.
Is this Ruthless Ryan?
Well, who the hell else would it be?
Papa John's calling us about our damn pizza.
That's what you sound like on the other end of the phone.
Wow.
I like him already.
And why are we interviewing again?
Yeah, well, I mean, why are you? I mean, I don't know. Y'all sunk down the amateur hour when you started interviewing Kid Ransom and Jasper the Hammer Davis, for God's sake. So, I mean, I don't know. I guess I had nothing else to do.
Man.
Well, what's going on, gentlemen? How are y'all?
Oh, we're good, bro.
Why'd you break character?
I'll just give you guys crap. I apologize. Portia told me to call you guys between 7:45 and 8 o'clock. I'm actually up here at Book's Gym right now. I just got done cutting the promo for the show. So I was like, oh shit, it's 8 o'clock. So I need to go ahead and give you guys a ring.
Nice.
Oh, nice, dude.
Awesome. Yeah, we were
I
just...
really appreciate you guys having me on, though, for real. Really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, man.
No problem.
Right on.
Let's see. What we're going to do is we're going to try to... What? Give me this weird look.
Because I can see you're ready to like cut shit, right?
Wait, I'm sorry. What was that? Say it again?
No, nothing. Travis is just giving me a hard time.
Oh, okay.
That's what I do.
Yeah, it's just trying to figure out, where we're going to start recording and all that. I kind of want to keep some of that stuff that you had in there at the beginning. I wonder if we could...
We could put that as a blooper reel.
We could.
No, fuck that. It's not
Yeah,
big.
why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can put that at the very end. I'll here, save that. Stop recording and save
Oh,
that.
God damn it. It will make it...
Make
Save
it.
it.
Here, hold this.
Okay, thank you. Hey.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great!
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good,
It
though.
could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!
Boo!